fall off. Like we've seen a lot of
progression.
those guys kind of fall off. So if you're Seattle, is this almost like the fact that Lockett's gone and maybe they trade DK Metcalf, Geno's 34. Would it shock you at all if Seattle said, you know what, maybe we could, because the quarterback situation is not great around the league, and we'd have to find, maybe we could try and make it work with Fields, who's younger, at least take a shot at somebody younger. Maybe we traded Geno and DK and kind of regroup and reset here.
That's Daniel Jeremiah on his Move the Sticks podcast. And I'll ask you the same question that he was asking Bucky Brooks there, which is, would it shock you at all if they decided, you know what, we're moving on from DK and Geno and we're going to reset?
2 days ago, 3 days ago would have shocked me. Right now, no. I think they're at a crossroads. They're trying to figure out, okay, what direction are we going and how many steps back are we going to take before we take our steps forward? You look at the older quarterbacks in the game. Aaron Rodgers is 40. Kirk Cousins, 36. Matthew Stafford, 36. Russell Wilson, 35. Carr, 33. Geno, 33. Dak Prescott, 31. I think Aaron Rodgers, can still play some good football. I just don't think you're going to get the consistent 300 yards, 2 touchdowns every week. It has to look different. He needs to be supported differently. The older quarterbacks get, the more they need to be supported, just like in life, right? The older you get, the more help you're going to need. That's where these guys are. But that doesn't mean that they can't play good football. And I also think that we have to look at the quarterback differently. It's kind of like how we look at athletes differently now. We're seeing LeBron play great basketball at the age of 40. The body is just different at this point. The same way we looked at wide receivers and people were complaining that you can't pay a wide receiver X amount of dollars and win a Super Bowl. Okay, that held up for a year or two, and now you got that. I think there's a transition that happens in sports and in everything, but it's hard to realize that you're in the middle of that transition when you're in it. And that's where I think we are as far as quarterbacks. We're going to see quarterbacks play until they're 38, 39, 40 years old and still play some decent football, because what's the alternative? You go and get an Anthony Richardson and don't know what you're going to get out of him. I think Caleb is going to be fine. Bryce has to show that he can do it still. Like, you can look at any age group, and there's no just flat-out consistency in this league where, oh, he's 25 to 28. He's going to be good. No, he's young, but maybe his mental isn't right. He's not in the right situation. So it's almost ageism. Like, I get it. It's almost ageism. I understand why you look at it that way, because this is a young man's game, but the quarterback position is different, and we're taking care of our bodies differently.
I get what you're saying, though. It's a really good point about, like, at one point, you could say that about mobile quarterbacks. We were all having conversations about, can these quarterbacks stay healthy? Can a mobile quarterback, evolve and be a comfortable pocket passer? Can he, retain whatever? And, like, in the midst of all those conversations, all these top quarterbacks were doing is proving that all those assumptions were fake. Like,
right.
But we didn't realize it in the moment, and now all those questions we had seem silly. So it's a really good point about, like, what if the question of, is Geno too old at 34 sounds really silly in 5 years or in 10 years?
I think it will. I really think it will. I mean, we're seeing advancement in technology, the stuff you put in your body, the way you can take care of your body. It is just different. And then Geno's 34, man, but he's really 30. He ain't play a few years when he was with the Chargers, with the Giants and whatnot. He didn't play. I understand the concern. Just the same way I'm saying, like, you don't realize that you're in a transition sometimes when you're in it. It's the same way I'm going to say you also can't ignore what the past has shown you too. Guys start to decline. But this is the quarterback position, man, and they can play a bit longer because they're not asked to do a lot when it comes to the physicality of the game. It's not a Lamar or a Josh. It's someone who runs around like that and takes all these hits. It's just such a weird place to be in. Things got really gray, like the skies in Seattle today when it comes to the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh, God, it got gray fast. One last cut here that I just thought was interesting. It's Stephen Ruiz on today's The Ringer podcast. He was asked, like, why do you think the DK trade's happening? Do you think Seattle will do it? And just offered what he thought was, like, I think this is part of the context.
I think it's just that the timeline they're on. I feel like we've been hearing whispers of them moving on from DK Metcalf or Tyler Lockett, like trading one of them over like the past 3 years. Yeah. And I think Lockett got to the point where it was like a point of no return where, like, yeah, we got to end this relationship right now. With DK, I think he's probably accelerated it with this trade request.
I thought that was interesting because what Steven's saying is, like, look, DK could be useful to Seattle. DK in Seattle's offense next season probably gets 900 to 1,100 yards. But is DK exactly where he is more valuable for an organization with a young quarterback that's kind of opening their window and looking to build up over the next 3 years? Or for an organization like Seattle, are they in a spot where they go, man, like, I don't know that we're there yet. I think we're figuring out how to open that window again.
And it's because of the situation here, because of Geno, because of the change at offensive coordinator, because of the needs that you have at offensive line. They're trying to figure out who they are. They're an 8th grader right now, 8th grade, trying to figure out who you are. You're weird, okay? But you got some talent. You got some potential. You're trying to figure out which direction are you going to go. Are you an athlete? You're kicking with the cool kids. Are you artsy or in the band? Like, this is where I feel like the Seahawks are right now. And I don't think they thought they would be here this quickly, though. I think Lockett deal is going to happen. DK kind of shook this thing up. And if there's no DK, there's no Lockett, maybe you do look at your quarterback position and say, maybe we do something different there. I like what you said about who DK is. Right now as a receiver, DK is a veteran in the NFL. Over the past 6 seasons, he's been one of the best receivers in the game. What do quarterbacks need to be successful? You need an offensive line and a guy that you can just trust on the outside automatically just because of his resume and his reputation. Guys have resumes and reputations coming out of college, but you still got to go out there and prove it. If DK were to be an addition to a football team with a young quarterback, that quarterback's going to feel so much better about the situation. But same thing here in Seattle. Geno's going to feel so much better about the situation if he has DK. What are we saying? DK is valuable. No matter how you put it, no matter if you point out his flaws or not. He's valuable here. He's valuable there. What are you going to do? Get the most you can and try to make this thing happen. It's crazy that worst case scenario is DK is back in Seattle.
What are we hearing about what DK wants? That's coming up in about 15 minutes. Right now, let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
Headline number 1, Bobby Wagner is returning to the Commanders on another 1-year deal worth up to $9.5 million. What's the real headline?
A real Mariners-esque run-it-back mentality here for the Commanders. But in this case, I like it. Rooting for Bobby.
Yeah, I mean, Bobby had 132 tackles last year. 4th consecutive second-team All-Pro, 3 consecutive years with double digits when it comes to tackles for losses. He made 6.5 in 2014. He was 18th when it comes to tackles. He's the 11th highest paid interior linebacker, and he's the oldest out of those 11. He's extending that career. People can talk about where Bobby makes the tackles. I think that's been the conversation with me and the guys on the pregame and postgame show for the Hawks. Yeah, but he's making tackles, and there's value to what he does. It's not going to be as violent. It's not going to be Fred Warner. It's not going to be that. But he obviously has value to this team, and I think with the Commanders, it's deeper than just what he does on the football field. He's the leader. Those guys love him. Go ahead and do your thing, Bobby. 34 years old, and we talking about him like he's an old man. But in football, and when you're a linebacker, that age scares some people at times. I think this is probably the way his career is going to go until he's done. Sign a 1-year deal, and let's just see if we can keep it moving.
My alternate headline rewrite was going to be something about, like, a step back for a Hall of Famer is just being a very good starter. And I think that's the conversation we're having about Bobby, where it's like, well, he's not the Bobby he was. And it's like, well, no, of course he's not. But when you are the best at some point, you aging is just you becoming still pretty good.
Yeah.
And for a team like the Commanders that needs a lot of defensive help, I think that Bobby is a perfect fit.
Headline rewrites.
Headline 2, Tom Pelissero reports Myles Garrett requested a meeting with Browns owner Jimmy Haslam, but was turned down because of his trade request. What's the real headline?
Jimmy said 2 can play that game.
Yeah, they're getting rough over here. It's getting hostile. And I'm going to talk more about it during 4 Down Territory and really how I think about this situation. But I think this is a natural response. Like, you don't want to be here. We don't want to move you. Why am I going to meet with you at this point? Let's just let's keep it at a stalemate for as long as we can until cooler heads prevail. I don't know what that looks like at this point. Because just like I'll talk about DK, if he doesn't want to be here, you do your best to get him out. Same thing with Myles Garrett. But Myles Garrett is a different caliber of player, too. Like, DK is a great player, but Myles Garrett is a Hall of Famer, first ballot, no doubt about it. You don't want to move a guy like that. So maybe they're saying, look, just calm down, take your time, go on your trips during the offseason, and let's really think about this and come together later at a later date. Maybe the agent and ownership gets together and they figure something out, but I wasn't surprised at this at all.
Do you think that Myles Garrett actually gets moved? I always thought, like, maybe he's trying to get more money. Maybe the Browns, do kind of like a standoff. But this sounds like the Browns saying, we know we can get a first-round pick out of this. We're not talking.
I think that is going to get extremely complicated.
Me too.
And I can't tell you what's going to happen. I think what should happen is that you let Myles Garrett go. That's me talking from the player's side.
For like a first rounder.
Yeah,
like
first rounder. You get a first rounder, man.
Team.
I'm asking for a first rounder, a second rounder, maybe a later one too.
You can get a first rounder.
You can get that because he's that good of a player. But when you look at where the Browns are as an organization, it makes sense to keep them because you want something to build around, but it also makes sense to let him go because you're not winning anything anytime soon. You are not. That's who the Browns are at this point. It's just it's a weird situation to be in.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 3, today's the NHL's trade deadline. One move made moments ago. Brandon Tanev, the first Kraken player moved, getting dealt to Winnipeg for a 2027 second-round pick. What's the real headline?
Are we attaching new meaning to release the Kraken?
We are. Because they gone. They dipping. They getting up out of here.
See ya.
Tanev, he was held out the game against Nashville, so that it sounds like they're about to move the guy. And it's smart for them to move him as much as we don't want it to happen, right? You move him before his contract expires in the summer, you're going to get something out of it. If not, then you're just going to let him walk. You got to make these moves right now. The Kraken are not going to the playoffs, right? They are nowhere near contenders at this point of the season. You have to start trying to rebuild this thing. It's unfortunate we're talking rebuild 3-4 years into the franchise existence, but it is what it is. So this move makes sense if they do move Tanev. He could play with his brother. I think his brother plays for the Maple Leafs in Toronto or whatnot. It's a mad dash for some cash right now. Get what you can out of your talent. As long as Shane Wright and Beniers is still there, your young pieces, they got some pieces from Coachella that have been moved up. So be it, man. But this team isn't going to win anything anytime soon, so make some moves.
It's an interesting point, though, about look, you just need to accept where this team is, and your approach has been, and I'm not like a Kraken expert, but it feels like they've taken kind of like a safer, middling approach, maybe a little conservative, and they started on bad footing as an expansion team already, and teams wisened up to like, well, the Knights, the Knights got the best of us, Vegas got the best of us, and now we know how to deal with an expansion draft in a different way. So Seattle was not facing quite the same loopholes and advantages. But the approach isn't working. No. Something needs to happen, clearly. Okay, so we do have some good Mariner stuff coming up beginning at 10:45. Jeff Passan visited Mariner spring camp. He's got some of his observations, was on with Brock and Salk earlier this morning. We'll tell you what you need to know there. Mariners insider Shannon Drayer is joining us from Peoria at 11. So we'll ask her lots of questions about how the guys are looking, conversations she's having, the vibe around the club. Curious to see how Dan Wilson is handling his first spring training and what she's hearing from him about the philosophy for this team. I know a lot of people are wondering if there's going to be a change in that approach. We talked about it all last year. Coming up next, though, what does DK Metcalf actually want out of a trade? Now, no one's actually asked DK. DK's not on camera talking about this, but we did learn from a new report a couple things that he's reportedly looking for. That's next.
Blue 88 on Brock and Salk.
Geno Smith, 3 years, $100 million. That's what Brady suggested.
Every day at 7:45.
So he's saying that Geno Smith's going to settle for a deal that pays him $34 million a year?
A little more than it has last year. Get him another nearly $40 million bag and signing bonus.
$34 million? I'm sorry, that goes against everything I think I know about Geno Smith.
Blue 88, answering 3 football questions as only Brock Heward can.
Guys, I'll never forget the first time I saw somebody get results at our clinic. He was an 81-year-old man who hadn't been intimate with his wife in over 8 years. Viagra had stopped working for him, and he was desperate for help. After several treatments, he walked into my office and told me he couldn't believe the results. Needless to say, this was a very happy man. This man made me a believer in what we do. He had taken pills for years, but he had never fixed the problem. When he came to us, we fixed the problem. Our treatment does what no pill can do. So give West Coast Men's Health a call today. Speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. Change your life today, like the thousands of men who already have.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
we meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
This is the story of the one. He's responsible for keeping a leading healthcare facility clean and safe. And he trusts Grainger's high-quality HVAC cleaning and safety products, combined with their world-class supply chain, to consistently deliver, ensuring he's covered inside and out, so he can focus on keeping his facility clean to help protect the health of everyone inside. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
Seattle Sports is in Arizona for spring training baseball. Go behind the scenes with Wyman and Bob all this week from 2 to 7
on Seattle Sports.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Well, one of the best parts of being at spring training is seeing how physically impressive the professional athletes are up close. It's Mike Salk here, and coming off a long off season with something to prove, it's so clear these guys are in peak physical condition after months of hard work. Now, us regular folk may not have quite the same resources, time, or money to devote to our diet and exercise. But what if I told you you could be in the best shape of your life, just like some of these guys are, in only 45 days? That's all it takes after losing almost a pound a day with the help of Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. It worked for me. 10 pounds in the first week, 35 pounds after just 8 short weeks. I felt healthy. I was eating delicious, fresh meals, no pills, no injections, didn't even need to exercise. Find out if you can do it. A 15-minute call is all it takes. No obligation. Schedule it right now at EastsideWeightLossClinic.com. You got nothing to lose other than all that extra weight. Go to EastsideWeightLossClinic.com. Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
They say teachers don't impact for a year, but for a lifetime. Hi, this is Rick Riz. Join WSECU, your local credit union, as we celebrate those who give so much with the Teacher of the Week program. Nominate a teacher you feel has changed a life in our community. Each week throughout the season, we'll honor one teacher with a $500 grant, courtesy of WSECU. Teachers are the real MVPs. Find out more and nominate a teacher at mynorthwest.com/teacher.
You're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
What does DK Metcalf want? And what do the Seahawks want? At least, what do we think they want? That's the conversation we're going to have right now. As far as what DK wants, we do have a report. This was Diana Rossini saying on Gojo and Golic what she'd heard.
From the DK side to it, he obviously wants to get paid. He wants to play somewhere where it's warm. It was something I was told. Warm weather. He wants a more stable quarterback situation. So these are things that I think will play into some of the decisions here when we see if the Seahawks are able to really get what they want here for a player like DK.
Wants to get paid, would love a warm weather location, and wants to play for a team with a more stable quarterback position.
It's a lot of wants. That's a lot going on there. I don't blame him, though. I'd love to play somewhere warm and get my money and have
a franchise passer.
You know, that sounds good. It all sounds like the Los Angeles Chargers, though. It's the warmest place you got other than San Diego. They don't have a team anymore. You don't have that humidity out there. You got Justin Herbert as well. And I think that I wouldn't call these guys contenders, but I think they have contender tendencies, right? They're on the move. You're bringing Harbaugh. It looks like they're trying to fix that defense up. Offensively, you drafted Ladd McConkey last year, who was like 10th in the league when it comes to yards, has a bunch of receptions. You need a DK Metcalf type of guy over there. It's a lot to ask for, but I think that if you are DK Metcalf, you're in the position to ask for that because you put together 3,000 or 4,000 yard seasons. You've had years where you had double digits in touchdowns. DK is a top 15 receiver in this league. I was texting this one person on our text lines. They go, "Oh man, he's not even a top 10." I go, "Well, there's about 130 something starting receivers in NFL. I'll take top 15. There's value in a DK Metcalf." But the NFL will tell you fairly quickly what they think of you and how valuable you are. And we're hearing rumors that teams are reaching out to the Seahawks already, as you should be reaching out to them. And I think that they're not going to offer a first-round pick. I think the highest you get is a second-round pick. And what if it's not a contender? What if it's not a warm place? What if we're talking Cincinnati? And granted, T. Higgins is probably not going to happen, right? But just for an example, what if we're talking about a middle team that they feel DK can help them go to the next level, but you only check one box and the other two boxes are still open?
Let's talk about what the Seahawks want from Diana Rossini.
I do think he's going to need a team with a strong head coach. I was told he wants to go to a warm weather organization.
Okay.
So I think that cuts it down to some of the teams here that we're talking about that would be interested. And then Colin, just look around the league. Every team that needs a receiver right now, what comes to mind? The Panthers, Jacksonville, the New England Patriots, Houston, the Chargers.
Yeah.
For now, I can tell you none of those teams are going to pay that price. None of them. I've reached out to all of them. They're not going to do it.
So nestled within here is what the Seahawks might want. And if none of the teams are willing to pay the price, I'm guessing what they want is a first.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's what they're asking
That's
for.
the only way you can entice them. What's funny is that she says the Chargers don't want to pay that price, right? They just let go of Bosa over there, correct?
Yeah.
You got $90 million in cap space. You have some money to work with. You have a franchise quarterback in Justin Herbert. You have a number 2 over there already. Why wouldn't you take a strong look at DK? Sanjay Lau was over there. He loves DK. They got a great relationship. That one confuses me just because of the money they have in the bank.
I think it's just the idea of the draft pick plus the money. Like if DK had 2 more years on his deal and was 26, like if you were to trade DK last offseason, I do think the Chargers maybe would be willing to entertain, hey, let's give up pick 22. Or, the Bills in a completely different financial situation, alternate universe, would be like, yeah, let's give up 30. But it's, do I want to give up a first rounder and then pay this guy $30 million per year? And that, I think, is what's making people hesitant. So now I'm wondering, would John Schneider settle for a second?
Well, they got a second rounder. They got the 55th overall pick, the Chargers. 55th pick overall, 23rd in the second round. You got a second rounder, just go there. And $30 million is just the price for DK. Every team's going to have to pay $30 million for him. I might get it maybe a couple years ago. He's a bit younger. You just take over the contract and just let it ride out for a little bit. I get that. But are you trying to win for real? If you're trying to win for real and you are the Los Angeles Chargers, you go ahead and get your quarterback, the best available, youngest wide receiver that's out there. Or you're going to get Devontae Adams, a bit older. You're going to get Stephon Diggs. You're going to get Keenan Allen. This is the best situation for them. Go ahead and give up your second-round pick. I think this feels like to me, Stacy, is going to be a long game for this DK situation because the Hawks are going to ask for that first-round pick, and they're going to ask multiple teams. They're going to make the rounds. I don't think they're going to get it, and then they got to come back with a second-round pick and say, okay, let's start all over. This feels like it's going to take a while.
Yeah, John Schneider, I forgot to play the cut earlier, but on the John Schneider show said, the draft would be kind of the deadline. So if you get draft compensation, you wanted to be able to use that this year, and you want to be able to know what your team's going to look like. You want to know, if we don't have DK, we got to know what pieces we need. We got to know what guys we're working with here. Maybe, if we don't have DK, maybe there's a receiver we would normally release or, non-tender, whatever it is. And now we're going to make sure we don't lose him, which I completely understand. And I even think, the draft is further out than most people are expecting. When this news broke, you're kind of thinking, is this going to be before the league year? That's what Albert Breer said on with Brock and Salk, that he thinks it gets done before the league year. The league year is Wednesday. This upcoming Wednesday.
I don't think it gets done.
Before that?
I don't think it gets done. I hope it does for both parties. For DK's sake, so he can start packing and get his mind right and get familiar with that team over there. And for the Hawks' sake, so they have a direction. Because right now, there's direction when it comes to needs, right? But I don't think there's a clear direction when it comes to expectations at this point because of what still needs to get done. So, no, you know what? I don't think it gets done. I might be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope we're talking about this next week, and we can start focusing on the future.
Popular question that I saw on the Mac and Jack's text line, and it's one that I think people were discussing, is the stable quarterback quote. The idea of Geno wanting a stable quarterback, people wanted to know, is that a shot at Geno? What do you think?
It could be, but I don't think so. It could be. I think DK is looking at the quarterback situation here the same way that you and I are and a lot of these analysts are. Look, he's 34 years old in Geno, and the writing's on the wall. Eventually, he's going to be gone. You need someone else to kind of take over. And I think DK is thinking, all right, do I ride it out with Geno for 2 or 3 more years? And then they throw this rookie out there. I'm damn near 30. Things change a bit. Or do I go somewhere where there's a 26, 27-year-old who just signed a deal for 4 or 5 years that I know is going to be there for a while? There's nothing wrong with that. And that's another example of it not being personal. It's just business. He's looking out. He is a receiver. It's the most dependent offensive position in the game. You need help from the line, the quarterback, right defense. You catch the football. I think that's the way he sees it. I don't think he's looking at Geno and saying he can't get it done. No, I think he's saying, look, I would like to be in a place where there is a young quarterback who I feel like is going to be there for 4 or 5 years.
That's exactly. It's. I want to know what the quarterback situation is going to be like in 2026, 7, 8, 9. I want to know through the length of my contract that I'm not going to be dealing with brand new offensive coordinators, which are typically going to come with a quarterback fails because that coaching staff is going to get fired. I don't want instability. He's already gone through however many, 2 quarterbacks, but however many OCs here in Seattle. You want stability. You want to know who you're working with every single year for, like you said, the next 5 or so. Beyond that, it's a little you can't promise anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't. And look, even the biggest Geno Smith fan in the world has to admit that there is an understanding, an unspoken understanding that there is a time limit on how long Geno's your starter.
Everything's got an expiration date. Everything has an expiration date. And this is good business by DK. He's looking at it. Ain't about y'all. It ain't about me. It ain't about you. It ain't about the Seahawks. DK is making it about DK, and he should. If there's any moment for y'all to call him selfish, now you call him selfish, and I would say go ahead and be selfish, DK. You put yourself in what you think is the best situation. Is it going to work out for him? Who knows? No one can predict the future. If you can, holla at me. I need some numbers for the lotto. This is just how this thing is going to go. So I hope it gets done before Wednesday. We need stuff to talk about.
Joe in Bellevue, last question here before we head to Mariners. Do you think DK can be a top 5, and I'll add top 10 even, if he is with that franchise quarterback?
Oh, man.
I mean, the Seahawks passed it a ton. Geno passes it a ton.
Yeah.
It just happened to be a target
let me look
share.
at top 5 as far as yards last year. Jamar Chase, I don't think he's better than him. Justin Jefferson, no. Brian Thomas, didn't watch enough to give you a true analysis on the young man. Drake London, Drake is a possession type of receiver. DK's faster than him. And then we'll go Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think he could crack the top 10. And I think depending on the year, because that's what we missed too. We're looking at DK's last year with 900 yards and saying, we didn't even reach 1,000 yards. Well, he missed a couple games and things were rough on the offensive side. I think in a good year, a good couple years, he can be a top 10, maybe flirting with 5.
All right, MLB insider Jeff Passan visited Mariners spring camp and shared a few takeaways with Brock and Salk. You are going to like what he had to say about Julio. That's in just a few minutes.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
Joining us here in the booth, Mariners broadcaster Gary Hill.
Julio being Julio is still going to matter, I think, more than anyone else you bring in. I think he can be a true difference maker, all-star MVP quality. I mean, we all know what his ceiling can be. And I'm actually really confident that he's going to have a big year. And because we have seen it in flashes where he has been among the best players in baseball.
Yeah.
Like the absolute best player that this game has to offer.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app.
I've always said, the car sales in the 1980s and 1990s, earned the rep that we have today. The concerns that consumers have because of what has happened in our industry in the past, they're warranted. It's our job to show them that that's not how business is done anymore, right? It's very different business. It's much more transparent. There's much more information that's available to people. And we're much more customer focused than I think the car industry was, 20, 30 years ago. Yeah, I'm more focused on providing good customer service and relationships because I think if you take care of people, money will always come. So I think just the philosophy and the focus for us has changed, where I was constantly chasing a paycheck and now I'm just constantly trying to take care of customers and employees because I know if I do that, then my paycheck will take care of itself.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel, where comfort meets elegance. It's Mike Salk here, and this summer you can experience breathtaking Cascade views, world-class dining, and of course the best entertainment. Elevate your next getaway by combining effortless style with the utmost in relaxation. The hotel opens this summer with deluxe king and 2 queen rooms, premiums, grand suites, signature suites, and the breathtaking views of the Cascades and the Snoqualmie Valley. For more details, go to snocasino.com. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
John here with Happy Hauler. Furniture and household items you plan to throw away? We'll take them and prioritize donating and recycling, keeping items out of the landfill. Happy Hauler is Seattle's eco-friendly junk removal. HappyHauler.com, hauling with a heart.
This is the story of the one. He's responsible for keeping a leading healthcare facility clean and safe. And he trusts Grainger's high-quality HVAC cleaning and safety products, combined with their world-class supply chain, to consistently deliver, ensuring he's covered inside and out, so he can focus on keeping his facility clean to help protect the health of everyone inside. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Guys, your testosterone level impacts your energy, drive, weight, hair loss, and even ED. Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your T level for free. For your free T level check, exam, and consultation, call 206-529-1111 or visit revivemenshealth.com.
So here's the deal with Mariners season ticket memberships. You've got 2 great options. With a Flex membership, you have the freedom to pick your seats, games, and number of tickets whenever you want. Or if you like knowing where you're sitting all season long, go with a reserved membership and lock in your seats from day one. Both plans get you access to exclusive pre-sales, year-round discounts, special event invites, and more. Check it out at mariners.com/25.
Cal Raleigh wins it in the 10th inning for the Mariners.
Heading outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Do you need a new roof? Don't wait for summer to replace it. 3 Tree Roofing is here to help you save big this winter. Avoid summer's higher prices and longer wait times and protect your home's integrity now. Visit 3treeroofing.com for your free on-site estimate. Our certified installers make it easy and worry-free, no matter the season. Don't wait. Book your estimate today at 3treeroofing.com. Mention this ad and get $500 off your roof replacement. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
Things are just better when you switch to Cricket. The sun shines a little brighter. Happy music starts randomly playing. Best of all, you can get iPhone 13 for just $29.99. With the ultra-bright Super Retina display and up to 19 hours of video playback, all on Cricket's super-fast 5G network. See? Isn't that better? Smile, you're on Cricket.
Requires new account imported on $60 plan. First service charge, tax to with sale. $25 activation fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Cricket 5G is not available everywhere. See store for details.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
You're free now. Free to stream beyond your wildest dreams.
Rom-coms, slasher-coms, space operas.
Free to fill your feed with impossibly chonky chonkers.
Cats, corgis, babies on demand.
Free to make your smart devices do silly things.
Bowl of chips on the Robo-Vacuum.
Free to open a world of remote work and Gametopia.
Who's the boss now?
Free to be everything you imagine. That's how it feels to have Quantum Fiber Internet. Your world unleashed. Learn more at quantumfiber.com.
Limited availability, service in select locations only.
You're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
ESPN MLB insider Jeff Passan took a visit to Mariners spring camp and then joined Brock and Salk to share some of his takeaways, and we are going to share some of those with you right now in case you missed it. So a lot of this is actually positive. This is not going to be a world is ending segment. I actually really liked some of what we heard from Jeff. We'll start with his general takeaway about just visiting Peoria and what he thought about the Mariners.
Number one, it made me think more about picking the Mariners to win the American League West. I think there's a pretty good vibe with this team right now. I think they really like Dan Wilson and like playing for him and have a pretty deep respect for him. And for him to have engendered that over less than a year in his seat is impressive. And I think he's an impressive guy.
After an off season of bad news, this interview is exactly what I needed.
Yeah, thank you for that, because there's still a lot of doubt in our minds and in Mariners fans' minds, and rightfully so. But if things happen the way that Justin and the gang have projected it to happen, with Robles and Rosarena doing their thing and JP bouncing back, Cal being Cal, the arms being the arms, there is reason to be excited about it. But I think every year for the past 3 or 4 years, there's been reasons to be excited for this Mariners season. You got Julio, you got that rotation. They have made some moves. Like, I'm not going to lie, like the Polanco move, I was kind of excited about the Polanco move. The second baseman, why am I forgetting his name? No, from Cardinals.
Colton Wong.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Wong move, low-key interested. Okay. Good defensive guy. Maybe he taps back into
like
something. At the time, when they make the moves, you start to look at how they fit into the puzzle and the possibilities. So I must say that with the outfield that the Mariners have right now, that is the most excited I've been about the outfield in a minute.
Let's talk about that outfield, especially the center fielder. Jeff Passan thinks Julio's ready to take the next step.
I think Julio Rodriguez is ready to take the leap. And I think he understands that the difference between being a 4-win player, which he's been through the course of his career, and being like a 7 or 8-win player, which puts him firmly into the conversation for American League MVP, has the chance to be the difference between the Mariners winning the division and not winning the division. And I talked to them about this. I pointed out, like, hey, Bobby Witt Jr. took the leap last year, and the Royals made the postseason. Do you think that you are capable of doing the same? And what would that mean to the team? And I think he understands his position right now for this organization and how much is riding on him. And
Bump, Jeff isn't saying something we don't already know. Every single Mariners fan will be like, yeah, this season is going to be better if Julio's playing like an MVP. What Jeff is saying is, and I think he can. And that's different.
Yeah, big ups Bobby Witt, my favorite player outside of Seattle. Love watching him play. So, he needs the same jump that Bobby had. And can it be done? We think it can be done, because we've seen stretches where Julio just looks like a baseball god.
A base god.
A base guy. He looks good. But there are just some things that needs to be worked out. And here's the thing. I don't know what the situation is in Kansas City with Bobby Witt. I don't know. Obviously, we don't cover that team. I'm not reading up on their articles and stuff every single day. But I guarantee you there have been some moves made to support Bobby in that organization. It's not just Bobby. Bobby is the focal point and the centerpiece, but things have been done around him to support him, to allow him to flourish that way. I think and I hope with a Rosarena and Robles out there in the outfield with Julio, that allows him just to relax and get back to just having fun and playing the game, because that is when he's at his best, when he's having fun, when he has that childish smile and he's running to the outfield and going back and forth with the fans. That is when Julio is at his best. Can he tap back into that? I hope he can. I think he can. But this is the year, Stacy. We said it before. This is the year. Like, we have to see it this year.
On the kind of note of thinking that we can see it this year, this is a little more, it's going to sound a little repetitive, but I just liked this. A little bit more on Julio from Jeff.
Over time, we've had this chat before. Do we put too much on Julio, right? And not just in terms of like the pressure that comes with it, but the Mariners need him to be a particular type of player if they want to be a particular type of team. And I think the answer is no, because you're operating with a bunch of set things within a set payroll, within a set roster. And, you can get marginal gains here and there from guys, but Julio's the one who has the largest delta there between what he is and what he can be. And because of that, that's opportunity cost right there. That's the ability to go and capture value from one person. And that extra value that he can bring if he has the type of year we know he's capable of having it's game-changing for this organization.
So wrapped up in this bump is a question like this. Is it fair to ask a game-changing player to have a game-changing season?
No, that's what you pay him for.
Yeah.
That's why you gave him that $200 million with $400 million that he can possibly make, because you saw that in him. Every great team has that player or those type of players, several of them, if you can pay for them, Yankees, Dodgers, Mets, whatever. No, that's why he is here. That is why number 44 is in the stores everywhere. That's why people show up to the no-fly zone, because he has that type of potential. At some point, though, you look at potential and it changes a bit. And for me, it hasn't changed quite yet, Julio's potential. I think he still can be. People have him ranked as the best center fielder in the game right now. Me, I got to see a little bit more from him, but I think he has that type of potential. But after a while, your potential changes. It's like when I coach a kid, right? I'm coaching little Bobby. I'm saying, little Bobby, you get to your third set with your left foot and you should put it in the ground and snap it that way. For the first few weeks of the season, or maybe his freshman year, he's not snapping it. But I'm thinking, you know what? He's not strong enough yet. Has to mature. He has to trust that step. By the sophomore year, you see it a little bit. By junior year, you have to show me now. You got to show me, because now we're talking about playing on Fridays. I think Julio has a little more time than just 3 years. This is his fourth year. But at some point, you say, okay, now you got to show me now. Like we've had your back and we've gone through your valleys and your peaks with you. But now we just need a steady incline, just a steady incline, and show us that you can do it. I think we're getting to that point with Julio. I think maybe he still has a couple more years, but I'm not there yet, and I don't want to get there. I always want to give Julio the benefit of the doubt. But at some point, it is what it is, and this is going to be a big year for him.
I actually think that some of the Mariners or Mariners fans' expectations for players is mostly fair. No one is asking, Dylan Moore to, lead this team in home runs. That's not who he is as a player. But you are expecting, like, this guy can be a Gold Glove super utility dude. Maybe he takes the chance to be, do way more than he ever has before as a regular starter at second. I don't know. Maybe he takes that step. But no one's asking Cal to lead the team in average. They're just saying, can you get 30 bombs again, Cal? Can you be great behind the plate? Can you stay a leader? You have to kind of ask what you think is fair. Now you have to decide whether you think it's fair to ask Julio to be great. If you think he can be, truly fundamentally think, I think this guy can be great, it's okay to ask for that. Surrounding him with more talent is a Mariners issue. Adding more bats and more depth is a Mariners issue. But just looking at an MVP caliber player and saying, hey, I need you to step up and play like this, I don't think that's unfair.
No, it's not. Lockett's not here because he wasn't living up to his contract at his age. At some point, you must live up to your contract. And We see it in glimpses with Julio. Now it's just put it all together for a season.
All right, we got Jeff Passan's takeaways from Mariner spring training. Let's get Shannon Drayer's next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
Joining us here in the booth, Mariners broadcaster Gary Hill.
Julio being Julio is still going to matter, I think, more than anyone else you bring in. I think he can be a true difference maker, all-star MVP quality. I mean, we all know what his ceiling can be. And I'm actually really confident that he's going to have a big year. And because we have seen it in flashes where he has been among the best players in baseball.
Yeah.
Like the absolute best player that this game has to offer.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here. And as a former college and professional player and quarterback in particular, the years of wear and tear and some of those hits left my knee and some of my body in some constant pain. On and off the field, the weight room, all those heavy squats and all of it. In fact, my knee was really bothering me last year. That's why I decided to try stem cell injection therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson at Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine over there in Kirkland. And really, it was an awesome decision. With Dr. Dan, the procedure itself was so quick and easy. In and out, same day. Next day, I'm out watching football practice, a baseball game, and the staff was absolutely A+. And my knee, well, it's a whole lot better now, and I'm back to squatting and enjoying a much better quality of life. Call Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD, with Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. Over 30 years of experience. No one, and I mean no one, has more experience in pain medicine techniques. You can reach him at 425-823-4000. That's 425-823-4000 or DanielNelsonMD.com.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Let's talk about an ugly word, debt. I'm Navy veteran Phil Briggs, and at my lowest point, I was drowning in credit card debt until I turned to Navy Federal Credit Union. Their Cash Rewards and Cash Rewards Plus cards now offer a 0% intro APR on credit card balance transfers for 12 months. So dominate your debt with Navy Federal Credit Union, where our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA. After the intro rate expires, variable APRs are 14.9% to 18% based on credit worthiness. Rates are subject to change. ATM fees for cash advances are up to $1 at non-Navy Federal ATMs. Offer ends March 31st, 2025.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home and make price-boosting upgrades with no cost until close. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
For many of us, it's happening. Your hair is thinning. Your crown is disappearing. Hair loss had me feeling like I was losing my identity altogether. Well, I've got some good news. It's a simple one-day treatment that worked for me. The Advanced FUE from Advanced Hair. It starts growing new hair the very next day, and it's guaranteed to grow for life. We've all seen the pills and lotions that come with monthly memberships. Those can help retain what you have. But what if you want your own natural hair in specific areas like I did? You decide how much, how thick, and where. From Advanced Hair's state-of-the-art facilities to the world-class leading doctors like Dr. Perungo, it's not a maybe your hair will grow. It's guaranteed that your new hair will grow. For your free consultation, $250 off and 250 free hair grafts, call 425-449-8185. Advanced Hair is the winner of the 425 Business of the Year, and they are the team that I personally recommend. That's 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
From NHL Network, the Kraken are reportedly sending Brandon Tanev to the Winnipeg Jets. TSN's Darren Dreyer says it's for a second in 2027. ESPN's Brady Henderson reporting this morning the Raiders are one of the teams to have contacted the Seahawks about a potential DK Metcalf trade, a move that would obviously reunite DK with his former coach, Pete Carroll. John Schneider told Wyman and Bob yesterday the Seahawks are eyeing the NFL draft as a deadline for making a move.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Mariners insider Shannon Drayer joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Hi, Shannon.
Hey, guys.
We just listened to an interview with Jeff Passan, who joined Brock and Salk, and it sounds like while there's still a lot of critical conversation about the Mariners' offseason moves, he liked a lot of what he was seeing at spring training, particularly from Dan Wilson. I've not asked you a lot of questions about Dan, but I'm so curious about your takeaways so far through spring.
It's been interesting because, and first of all, it's pouring rain here. I hope everybody appreciates that. We're really suffering right now.
I feel like you're you're just now the same as us.
Which is not part of my plan this time of the year.
Solidarity.
Well, I'll do my best. You come into this camp looking for what is different. And I think that the camps, and particularly the last few years, have been very positive in that they have had, a really great structure. They have been built to learn to welcome new people into the organization and players that might be with you in the years, at some point of the year, the get-to-knows and whatnot, which is all very important. But, perhaps this was the right time because there aren't many new faces here to kind of pare back on things. And so Dan in camp, just like they have with the hitting plan, they've simplified things, and you don't have as many meetings, and there is more time to kind of go do some of the things in a more relaxed manner that you think that you need to do to get ready. And, to that end, it's the kind of work time that they have in the morning together and organized and on the board, I think is shorter than it was before, but they have a lot more time before that to get into the cages, to go work on things on the mound if they need to do that. And so I think that there's a lot more freedom in what you're doing in camp. So there's kind of a little bit more of a veteran feel in that. And I do think that Dan is delegating a little bit more and not getting into every minute detail. And I think that's probably a little bit easier when you have Edgar Martinez as your hitting strategist and when you have a very seasoned and acclaimed coach, hitting coach, and Kevin Seitzer with an assistant that's right there with him when it comes to experience. So I think that he has been able to kind of step back from some things and kind of turn things over. And obviously the pitching side kind of runs as the pitching side does. So watching him kind of navigate through it, I do think that he is putting a picture together with a lot of input and just in a little bit of a more free-form fashion as far as what the players are doing every day than we have seen in the recent past. And again, I think it just lends to it more because of A, not a lot of new faces, and B, a different staff. Not completely different, but some key pieces that are different.
Shannon, no matter what moves are made or not made, I always find a way to get excited for the Mariners season. And this year, it's because of the outfield with Robles and Julio and Rosarena. What have you seen out of the Latino trio out there?
They're a lot of fun to watch. It's fun to see Victor Robles in his first spring and Randy Rosarena in his first spring. And Randy is kind of exactly the same as he is during the season, and you're just really not quite sure what it is. And I'm not alone with that. I mean, teammates who have been with him forever, just you asked when he came over to the team, hey, you played with him, and they're like, we love him. And they couldn't explain why. And in talking to Victor Robles about, who makes you laugh because he makes others. And he said, Randy, and he just does it and he doesn't know how or why. It just is what he is. So Randy's a lot of fun in that regard. Victor, totally, I did a piece on him last week, and in talking with him and some others, totally get kind of a different feel for who he is because, we know he's, got the energy and that he's the igniter and that he is somebody that's going to do everything he can to win a game. And I think we saw kind of a scrappiness with him last year. And what I'm seeing in camp this year is all of that, but a little bit more of a veteran presence, and I really like it from him. I was talking with Julio at his locker late last week, and Victor came in and said hello, his rambunctious self and an energetic hello to Julio, and then handed him his World Series ring from the Nationals. Like he brought it in for them to see. And it was quite an experience seeing Julio hold a World Series ring, and thinking, what's he thinking holding this? But that is a little bit of leadership there. That is, kind of sharing, hey, I've got this. We all want this. And maybe it helps if you do have your hands on it. Then Las Montes walked by and seeing the 19, 20-year-old, really examine it. And it was the neatest thing because Las turned it around to the side where Washington was embossed on the side and used his index finger to pretend like he was scratching it off and then said Seattle and pointed to it. And just a neat thing. And that was all by Victor coming in and handing that ring to his teammates. And then Julio, all I can say is I love everything I've seen him do this year. You definitely see him. He is definitely getting more at bats. And I like the off season that he had. I think he is in a better place. He's absolutely healthy right now. I think he has a good idea of what he wants to do. He obviously works well with Edgar, and he's bought into the plan, wholeheartedly to get as many at-bats as he can, and he's having a good spring. He is hitting the ball hard right now. So, as individuals, you look at it and you like what you see, and then you think of them out there, running the outfield the way that they do, and it certainly is a plus. They finished the year as, arguably one of the best outfields in baseball. This year they can start it that way, and that's an improvement over last year this time.
Shannon, any other kind of behind-the-scenes interactions, observations that you felt indicated something about a player or maybe where this team is?
Wow. Sorry, did not prepare for that.
I know.
One.
I'm kind of hitting you on
that one.
It's okay if you don't have one that comes to mind. I always do sometimes I don't after Seahawks games or in the locker room, and then sometimes you'll be like, oh yeah, I actually, I saw this player helping this guy, and I thought wow, that's a leader I might not expect, but I figured I'd tap in to see if there was anything else that came to mind because I just loved that World Series ring story. It was so cool to hear.
Yeah, I'm just kind of trying to think around the diamond right now. I know we've talked so much about the pitching. It just, it's there. I think Luis Castillo really impressed me how he came into camp. I mean, the demeanor and the presence is always there in camp. This year he looked a little different physically. He said he did nothing different physically this year. I'm not sure if I believe that, but he, it might just be he got all the rest that he needed and got his work in. And he works different. He is still very old school in his workouts, and he still runs after every spring training start. And you don't see that as much. He's very legs-based and running-based and endurance-based. And he does all of that, but, he looks fantastic. But to see him come out and have the velocities that you were praying that he would get to by the end of spring training on day one, I think speaks to something as well. I think that there was a little bit of added attention there. Just such a fun group to watch. And then Brian Wu, just looking at him with another year under his belt, having a better understanding of everything that he is doing, how he does it, why he does it, and that confidence behind that, I think, is important too. So, it's hard to not have your eyes go to the pitching at all times. And I think Cal, you always look to him for all the leadership that he brings, and he does, but I really admire how he manages his time. And I think that, maybe there is a little bit of editing here and there because he's somebody that naturally is going to take everything on. And that extra time that I was talking about that they have now with how Dan is running it, Cal, when I asked him about it a few weeks ago, he's just like, I don't even know what I'm going to do with this. Maybe I'll come in an hour later, because he's always the first one in there. But to see him perhaps better manage it, there's no criticism of what he did before, but with everything that's in front of him, the more that he can economize on that, I think the better for him. And I think perhaps we see that as well. I don't see him being run into the ground in spring training, and he might do that to himself if you're not careful. And I don't see that at all. He looks like he's in a great place right now.
Hey, Shannon, there are some things that great teams, even good teams, do, right? They hold each other accountable, but they also kind of speak the same language, right? You can talk to 3 or 4 different players, and you're going to hear some similarities in the messaging and how they view some things. Have you caught any of that so far with this group this year?
Not as much, and that might actually be a good thing because I think there was perhaps some overload, particularly on the hitting side over the last couple of years. And I think that's just part of the simplification of it. And some guys don't even want to talk about that stuff. They don't want to talk about how they're doing it. You have to really kind of press and kind of dig in to get where they're at. So, and I think that, Dan's message is very, offensively is very simple. Hit the ball hard up the middle. That's all we want. And I have heard that a little bit from a couple of the guys. But I think a year ago, they were trying to dive into something that was so much more complex. And they were talking that quite a bit, and maybe they needed to because they were still digesting it all. And I don't hear that as much. On the pitching side, kick changeup, kick fastball. You hear the word kick quite a bit with all of the pitches as they've got kind of a new toy out there. But, I don't think there's any question that they're on the right page. I don't see in the clubhouse, a saying. You would usually see a saying for the upcoming year, a mantra that you would usually see. I thought there was kind of one when I first got to camp, and Dan Wilson kept talking about the little things. We have to do the little things, and I haven't heard that as much in the last week. And I think that maybe that is kind of a case of these things are being digested and being executed a little bit more. And, maybe it's more one-on-one and situational messaging as opposed to this is who we are and putting it on a T-shirt or on a wall. And, perhaps we'll see what, that have a little bit of a better effect with a more veteran club.
The Mariners obviously counting on bounce-back seasons from maybe Garver, Polanco, maybe even Haniger. Is there one of these guys that you think is maybe best set up to actually have that season?
Well, I would think it would have to probably be Polanco because he's the youngest of that trio, and he's got the most recent history.
Right.
And I think a lot of his problems were health-based. And I also think some of his problems were adjustment-based to a new team. I think adjustment probably was even a little bit more to Mitch Garver and being in a different shape. I think it finally hit him that he was over 30 and he had to do things differently in the offseason. He kind of admitted so much in an interview that I did last week. So I think he's better set up for success. He's looked good in the spring training games. Hit the ball 106 miles an hour off the bat last night. That was just a laser that went out to left field. And I think he's accepting of his role, too, in that, he came in last year to be the full-time DH, and it's kind of a step down where he is at. But I think one of the good things for him is while he was just trying to find extra time to, kind of put the message out there that he was still a catcher last year, even though he was brought in. And at the beginning of the year, the intention was not to catch him. This year, it is definitely part of his role, and he can prepare like that. And I think that not only gets him better ready behind the plate, but also the mentality, because he is a catcher. And he said, I come in as the backup catcher. And he, said that with, certainty. And I think that means something to him. So I think that sets him up a little bit better, but I don't know that, I still think I would probably go with Polanco. And on the pitching side, Gabe Spire was sorely missed last year. He, by the second half or even the last 3 months of the season, was pretty banged up. There was a lot of wear and tear. And when he is on, he is a big part of that bullpen. And he looks fantastic. The numbers and the metrics on him have been fantastic down here. And you hope you get back what you saw a year ago from him, because that is something that was a big, big piece of what that bullpen was able to do from start to finish.
Shannon, you mentioned that Dan is doing a bit more delegating. Is that in comparison to Service? Like, how do their styles look different when it comes to that and what you're seeing at spring training?
Yeah, I think it is. I think Scott was somebody, I wouldn't quite say that he was a micromanager, but he really, he had a good collaborative staff, but he still was really wanted to be on top of and sometimes into everything. And that's really hard in this job. There are too many people and too many to deal with, and both in players and also in managing the staff. And I think that was tough on him at times. I think there were times he had to do it, to be honest with you. When Brett Brown was let go and all of a sudden you're down a person in the hitting group, he had to insert himself into that. They needed another person in that. And, that's a tough move to make. And so I think Dan coming in and it being his first, full year is naturally going to reach out and use his resources more. Scott at this point was 7-8 years ahead of 9 years, I guess, of where Dan is. And so I think that you are, probably going to be paying attention to more things. And if that's your personality, which it was Scott's, whereas Dan, I think, is in a position where he really does need to rely a little bit more on those who have more experience around him, likes the people that are in place around him. It looks like he works well with everybody, absolutely implicitly trusts, the hitting side with Edgar Martinez, and the pitching is up and running, doesn't have to worry too much about that. So I do think that he does more, and I do think that he's in a position to better do that more right now.
Shannon's coverage from Mariners spring training is presented by Pacific Lamp and Supply. Shannon, thanks so much.
Hey, Shannon.
You got it, guys.
Let's get to 4 Down territory.
This is 4 Down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down, how are the Bengals making the whole situation worse with Myles Garrett?
The Browns.
Okay, I was like, is there a trade in the works here?
I'm sorry, I set my girl up.
How are the Browns?
The Browns.
Editing now.
With my brown sweater on today, too. They're making things worse, Stacy. When you're in a relationship, someone has to be the bigger person and just get the conversation going sometimes. You're not going to walk around the house or the apartment and not say nothing to each other for too long, right? You got to set this thing up. Now, the Browns refusing to meet with Myles Garrett is because the owner, Jimmy Haslam, says no. Jimmy took over in 2012. He's 78 and 138 as an owner. 2 double-digit win seasons, 2 playoff appearances, and 2 seasons where they won 3 games. Who are you talking to right now? Myles Garrett. Franchise leader. He's been on this team for 8 years now, 7 years now. Franchise leader in tackles for loss, 116. The next guy, Orpheus Roy, has 44. Leader in QB hits, 200. The next guy, Cameron Wembley, with 69. Leader in sacks, 102.5. Next guy, Bill Glass, with 77.
God.
Leader in forced fumbles. This ain't no chump you talking to. This is a dime piece walking around the house. You better do whatever you can to try to sort this thing out. It's a dime piece with a good personality. She has good humor. She knows how to cook and clean. She helps out with stuff that the relationship is good. You do what you can to keep this woman at the house.
Are you saying,
what are you
Jimmy,
doing right now?
Doing?
Jimmy, what are you doing?
You're saying, Jimmy, make this marriage. Well, okay, so here's my thing. What if Myles Garrett just this is like a two-way street, right?
It is a two-way.
Do you think Myles Garrett would stay in Cleveland?
He requested it. You never know.
Okay.
That's why you got to sit and talk it out.
Okay.
You might not hear what you want to hear, but you ain't going to hear anything, and things could get worse if you don't communicate. This is not no chump you're talking to. He's a franchise leader in almost every defensive category minus interceptions or something like that and passes defended. Man, sit down and talk to Myles.
Like, I knew he was great, but those numbers are
crazy.
Insane. Second down. Okay, DK wants to go to a contender. We know that. How realistic is that, though, and who's the best fit?
I don't think is as realistic as he thinks. And the reason why I say that is because when I think of contenders, there are only a few teams that I go into the next season saying, all right, they got a chance to win it. You got the Baltimore Ravens. They have $11 million in cap space right now. Not enough for DK. Things can't be moved around. They have the 27th pick in the first round and the 59th pick overall. That's the 27th in the second round. You have the Buffalo Bills. -8 in cap space right now. Things can't be moved around, all right? The 30th pick in the first round and the 30th pick in the second round, 62nd overall. I'm mentioning the rounds because they're going to try to get a first or a second, right? KC has $500,000 in cap space. Lions have $51 million in cap space, and the Rams have $55. They're not going to send you to the NFC. At least they shouldn't send you to the NFC. The only place, one other place that makes sense to me, it's either the Commanders, and they're in the NFC though, $94 million in cap space. They just got Debo and McLaurin, and then you have the Chargers. Here's the thing about DK. And I feel like I'm a DK defender at this point, and I am going to be a DK defender because everyone has their flaws, but I don't think people realize how good DK has been. Right? He was the 64th pick in the 2019 draft. He's outperformed every receiver that was drafted in that draft except for McLaurin when it comes to yards. 55 less yards than McLaurin, but he has 10 more touchdowns, 1 less touchdown than Deebo Samuel. He has been elite when you talk about his draft class. So I hope he finds his place, and maybe it is with a contender, and these guys move money around, but it's going to take some work, man. It's going to take some work. So we shall see, but right now as the cap stands and things will change, it don't look like he can really go to a contender.
Third down. Why do you think Hawks fans are so passionate about Jake Bobo? But what should their expectations be?
This is why they're passionate about Jake Bobo. When I see a black man on the golf course, I say, what up? Straight up.
I did not think you
Black man on the golf course, I'm like, what up? We out here. We are out here. Same thing with Jake Bobo. I'm with my other delegation friends. You see your dude out there doing something that you typically don't really see, a white wide receiver, they're going to love him up as you should, just like you should love up Cooper DeJean as well.
Look, when he got that pick six, I thought for the team.
I'm saying, for the squad, I ain't even mad at you. You're supposed to support your people. I feel that, but this is what you should expect out of him. Stop saying he's the number 2 receiver now. I love me some Jake Bobo. Great personality, good kid, can go up and catch the football. He does bring value to the football team, but stop saying he's a number 2 receiver, all right? This is what you should expect. You should expect a Joe Jurevicius type of career for him. And Joe had himself a good year. His best year was in 2001. He had 706 yards and 3 touchdowns. All right, when he was with the Seahawks, he had 694 yards. Ooh, and 10 touchdowns. Don't expect that, okay? But that's what I'm saying. It's
How
like,
dare you limit Jake Bobo?
it's a Joe Jurevicius type of deal. He'll play in the league for 10 years, hopefully, make himself some money, maybe become a number 3 receiver, have games where he looks like a number 2 receiver, but let's just calm down on that. If DK's not here, you cannot just insert Jake Bobo and say everything's going to be all right. Nah, you can insert him for now, and he's going to get his reps, but you need explosiveness. So love me some Jake Bobo. Big ups, baby. But let's simmer down the expectations.
Fourth down. Interesting one here. What would you love to see, but you feel there aren't great chances?
I would love to see DK in Vegas. I love to see it in Vegas. Just because you get hooked up with Pete Carroll, and we understand that the Raiders have put an offer out there, and they do have a second-round pick. I believe they got $81 million in cap space. You got Jacoby Myers over there who went for over 1,000 yards. You have Bowers as well at the tight end spot. It sounds like Lockett is probably going to go to the Las Vegas Raiders. It will be great. It's warm over there. You play indoors. We know DK has a big personality. Vegas makes so much sense, but you're in a division where you're probably not going to contend. I know you're not going to contend right away. Yeah. You have the Broncos who went to the playoffs, the Chiefs who look good, the Chargers are looking good. It's going to be tough. So it checks a couple of boxes, and I would love to see it because DK and Pete and Tyler Lockett, they're homies. And that'd be a great situation. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'd like to see
it doesn't affect Seattle in any way. I don't think they play until next season, right? So it's just, I would love it if the Raiders were a fun team to watch this year. It would just be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Likeable team. Okay. Coming up next in the timeline, Richard Sherman had something to say about the Seahawks letting Tyler Lockett go.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
We've been going position group by position group. We move on to safeties, Dave. So you got Julian Love, who's entering the first year of a 3-year extension. He had a great season. You got Kobe Bryant in the final year of his rookie deal. Rayshon Jenkins is the most likely cap casualty here because he's got a $7.9 million cap hit. And if they release him, they save $5.4 million. He had some plays, but he didn't have $7.9 million cap hit plays.
I agree. Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV, RV wins.
What, are you going to take the RV to the lake or clean out your closet? RV wins! Putting the dishes away or taking the RV camping? RV wins! Cleaning the fridge or taking a trip to the beach? RV wins!
You might want to clean the fridge real quick because, mold.
We clean out the fridge, then take the RV out.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states and situations.
T-Mobile home internet is all about speed, value.
What you doing, Zach?
I'm rehearsing. There are so many benefits. You got to talk fast.
T-Mobile home internet ranks #1 in customer satisfaction for home wireless internet by J.D. Power.
Wow, you are good.
Try singing it. T-Mobile has price lock.
They won't raise your rate on internet.
Hulu and Paramount Plus on there.
Get T-Mobile home internet all in for just $55 a month with auto pay and any postpaid voice line.
Additional terms apply. For JD Power 2024 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
Headed to the Sounder game this Saturday? Get down early and check out the Seattle RV Show. Sounders fans will be able to attend the show for just $5 before and after the match when they present their soccer ticket. More info at seattlervshow.com.
This is Matt Coker from West Coast Men's Health. Has Viagra stopped working for you? Do you hate the side effects? If you've taken Viagra for any length of time, you already know that pills are not the solution to ED. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we have a better approach to ED. Acoustic wave therapy creates blood flow circulation by safely removing the plaque in your arteries and restoring function naturally. No pills, no shots, no surgery. We can also treat Peyronie's disease. Our non-invasive treatment for ED is painless and highly effective. We have treated thousands of men just like you. Stop living with this problem and do something about it. Do yourself a favor, do your partner a favor, and call us today.
Call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com. HSA cards welcome and financing available.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, mind racing, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Video security, burglar alarms, fire alarms, access control, 24/7 monitoring, and more. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy, knowing we're here for you, your people, and your business. Visit bayalarm.com to talk to a local security expert. Bay Alarm, we got you.
Eric Johnson here. I covered a lot of accidents over the past 30 years or so, but I never got to say much about what to do after a crash. Be honest, do you know what evidence to collect, what pictures to take, what documents to request, or what you shouldn't say to your insurance company? The Washington Accident Book Series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the roads throw at them. Know your rights and how to avoid common mistakes after an accident by getting your free copy at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Don't waste time trying to get rid of your old or broken car. Cars for Kids is the easiest and fastest way to donate your car and get a tax deduction. Go to carsforkids.org today. That's cars with a K.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
If you've been in a wreck or a fender bender,
you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility, not just where your insurance company tells you to go. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. With over 25 years of auto repair work, they'll exceed your expectations.
we meet by accident, fixing every last bit. Accurate Auto Body.
At Accurate Auto Body, all their work is performed by certified technicians, only using OEM parts to guarantee the safety of you and your family. For the best in auto body collision repair and customer service, give them a call at 425-883-2450 or AccurateAutoBodyWA.com. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit. Accurate Auto Body.
March is here, and Toyota of Renton and Toyota of Kirkland have teamed up to take away your car buying madness. At Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton, they have the widest selection of new and certified used inventory and the largest savings in the region. Now that's a slam dunk. The all-star staff at Toyota of Renton and Kirkland will assist you with a test drive, and you can score that car the very same day. Come see for yourself or visit online at toyotaofrenton.com or toyotaofkirkland.com.
Over the past decade, Washington state politicians have doubled state spending with no improvements to the issues we care about. Instead, we now have the third highest cost of living in the nation and a $12 billion deficit. It's time to tell legislators we need better results, not bigger taxes. Act now at affordablewashington.org. Paid for by people for an affordable Washington and Olympia, Washington. Top 5 donors are Washington Alliance for Competitive Economy, Microsoft, Madrona, T-Mobile, and Alaska Air.
This is The Timeline
with Bump and Stacy.
brought to you by 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
It is The Timeline on Bump and Stacy, telling you the top stories you're going to hear about in the world of sports trending right now. Richard Sherman on his own podcast singing a familiar tune after the Seahawks let go of Tyler Lockett.
I don't know what it would take to retire a Seahawk at this point. For a guy to finish his career where he started, what they would have to accomplish. You know, they always cut or trade their great players, and this is just another example of that. It's unfortunate, but the fans of the city are always like, man, you know, it's better for us to get rid of him. It's like, I don't know how these other franchises have got away with guys playing 15 years with the same franchise and having some loyalty to them. But unfortunately, that's not the way it is with the Seattle Seahawks.
Is that the way it is with the Seahawks? Like, do they always cut and trade their best players? And are other organizations more successfully able to hang on to them?
No, I'd have to respectfully disagree with Sherm on this one. I went back and I looked at some of the greats who were able to play their whole careers with teams. You got Walter Payton from 75 to 87, Terry Bradshaw, Jim Brown, Barry Sanders, Ray Lewis, Dan Marino, LT, and Steve Largent, for sure. And I think that era was a bit different when it comes to free agency and all that good stuff. But then I went back and I looked at just some of the greatest. Jerry Rice did not play for the same team his whole career. Randy Moss played for 5 teams. T.O. played for 5 teams. Now I'm just talking about pass catchers.
Sure.
Isaac Bruce played for 2 teams. Tim Brown played for 2 teams. Steve Smith played for 2 teams. Andre Johnson played for 3. You do have Marvin Harrison, Larry Fitzgerald, and Reggie Wayne. I looked at the top 15 receivers of all time. Most of them played for different teams. And I think Sherm is operating from a place of just, you know, he has a direct connection to this team. Mm-hmm. And maybe he felt like he should have played his whole career with this team. I think he probably could. I think that Bobby could have stayed for a few more years and got this thing done. But times have changed a bit, and I think that for him to say that other organizations do it consistently, I don't think it's completely accurate. I think that he was a Seahawk, and he has his boys back, so he feels some type of way about this. But, I mean, I just named the top 12 receivers of all time, and most of them played for at least 2 different teams, some for 5.
Yeah, Sherm's a really smart guy. He knows more about this team than I do, more about the league than I do, clearly. I almost feel like there's an argument I wish he would have made that would have been really interesting to me because I don't agree with the one he did make. I don't think that the Seahawks, more than other teams, let go of fan favorite veterans or people that have given a ton to this team.
Mm-hmm.
We have been hearing for the past week and a half about players. I mean, the Browns might trade Myles Garrett. You read those stats earlier. He's the best defensive player. I think that this happens league-wide. The more interesting thing that I wonder if Sherm is getting at, or maybe that's fueling his argument outside of personal feelings about obviously what happened with him, is the Seahawks have let players go that would have helped them the following season.
Yeah.
I think that's maybe at the heart of what he's getting at, is he's saying it's not like, you let Bobby go when you didn't need linebackers. You're letting Tyler go, but if you trade DK, you could really use Tyler. So I think that's the more interesting angle of what he's saying.
Yeah, I also think the timing of it, how much they want to get paid, how much you're willing to pay them, because ownership looks at the personnel a bit different than obviously the players do. The ownership and the GMs and the coaches are looking, okay, I'm trying to build a team for the next 2 or 3 seasons. Do I see him being able to contribute to that? Sometimes they get it wrong. All right, Bobby could have played a couple more years here, I think so.
Yeah.
When Earl was let go, the whole situation with Earl was just crazy as far as that situation goes. So, no, I think that it's tough for a guy who was as great as Sherm was over here, as great as Bobby and those guys, to view it from the owner's suite. And not to say that they got it right. I'm not saying every time they got rid of these dudes, it was right. I go, maybe they could have held on it for a couple more years, but they're projecting what they feel like the contributions are going to be. And it's just not true that a lot of organizations have guys play their whole career for them.
There are a large number.
Unless it's your boy and you play for a year and some change. Yeah, I played my whole career with the Seattle Seahawks.
That's true. You are a career Seattle Seahawk. Also, there are a large number of those players, not every single one, but a large number of them that got that shot because the team chose to move on from someone else. So every opportunity you get in the league is because someone else doesn't have that job anymore. Either they were traded, they got hurt, they were released, and sometimes that player was someone that was a fan favorite who probably could have, should have finished his career there, but now it's your turn because you're better.
Yeah.
I mean, Sherm experienced that. Like, that's how a lot of players find their footing in the league, and then you take off and you prove that you're a future Hall of Famer, and how long can you keep going? Like, if Tyler Lockett would have had 1,200 yards last season, I think the Seahawks would have said, how can we restructure this and keep you here?
Mm-hmm. It's about what's around you. You kind of alluded to that too, right?
Yeah.
What's around you? What young player is coming up? Is he cheaper? You know, can we move this money to make this work? I think loyalty in sports, it's rare the older you get. The older you get, the more that loyalty is wearing thin, because it's just because of age, because the Father Time wins every single time. So, no, I respectfully disagree with my man Sherm. I think that his angle, his connection is a bit different.
I have one more here, but it's a separate question. It's going to be more specifically about Seattle's offense if they don't have DK. But here's the last cut from Sherm.
I just wish, they did better by their great players, but, that's a story I've had for a long time. You look at some of the all-time great players that have played for that franchise over the last decade. Bobby Wagner, what happened to him? They don't re-sign him, and then they try to bring him back, and he has an all-pro season, and then don't re-sign him again. He goes somewhere else, has an all-pro season. You're not replacing him with a better player. Then allow him to go out on his 10 toes with that jersey on. And when you don't, you kind of lose the luster for the franchise. And I think that's what's happened a lot of times. And that's what's happened again right now, with the Seattle Seahawks. They're losing an icon of the last decade for this team. And then if you trade DK, you're going to be wishing you had him back.
Do you think that that's true? Just the last part of that cut.
Oh, yeah. They're trading an icon for sure.
Yeah.
Tyler Lockett is a Seahawk through and through. He'll be retired as a Seahawk. They'll put him in the Ring of Honor. He's been in this community. He's been great. And if you do trade DK, which it sounds like you're going to feel it. You are definitely going to feel it, because it's hard to replace a Tyler Lockett and it's hard to replace a DK. But every franchise goes through this moment that the Hawks are going through. Some go through it a bit more consistently than others because they can't build a team and you got to move money. And some take a few years, a decade or so to kind of change the identity of this team. And I think with Bobby, you could have brought Bobby back and he played some good ball as well. But I don't know what Mike McDonald was looking for or John Schneider and Mike McDonald are looking for when they're trying to sign their linebacker. You bring over Ernest Jones, you get in him a younger man. It's a young man's game. So there are just angles, man. It's preference and it's strategy. And I think if Sherm were the GM of this team, he would hold on a bit longer, clearly, and we see if it works. I mean, there are situations where it does work, and guys do play for over a decade. But if you committed a decade to a team or to a player, I think that's more than enough. And if you decide to go your separate ways, it's clearly because of strategy and because of money.
Next story here, Kraken color analyst Eddie Olczyk laid into the team on Thursday's broadcast after yet another disappointing effort in Seattle's 5-3 loss to a bad Nashville team.
Just start figuring out who's playing and who wants to play and play those guys. I don't care how much you play them. I mean, at some point, a line in the sand has to be drawn. Can't just keep getting rewarded when you go out there and not get anything accomplished, and you're getting outshot 22-7. Play the guys that are playing. And if you hurt somebody's feelings, well, that's just too bad. I mean, right on. You heard the interview that Piper did with Chandler Stevenson in the pregame, and about the trades and players going out, and Chandler said, the first thing he said was, it's a business. Okay, well, it's a big business.
That's right.
He got jobs on the line. I would hope jobs are on the line. It can't. We've had too many games like this.
Pretty strong words from Eddie.
Eddie's looking at the effort that's on the ice. And he's an expert at this, and he can tell. Just like I could tell if there's a lack of effort on a football field. I can have one eye open and can barely see and can tell if someone's getting maximum effort or not. And you don't expect that out of professionals, right? You expect that out of a select team or 10U or rec, because these are kids and they're learning how to deal with failure and successes and all that good stuff. But at the professional level, there's a sense of a pride in your individual brand. Forget the Kraken. Forget the team you play for. The name on the back, when you are getting smacked night in and night out, the name on the back should be enough for you to be like, I'm going to go hard regardless. I played on bad teams, and I would tell dudes, I don't know what y'all doing, but I'm going to get mine regardless. I'm not going out like that. And, you know, you would expect that from guys who are getting paid well to provide a service.
Time for the IRG injury report brought to you by IRG Physical and Hand Therapy. Ernest Jones underwent knee surgery after the season, and John Schneider gave an update on the soon-to-be free agent's recovery.
He just had a little cleanup after the season, not much of a big deal. He's here, he's working with Strick and the staff and our strength conditioning guys with Ivan and all those guys. So, yeah, he's here, getting ready. And, we continue to have conversations with his representatives and, hopefully we can knock this out pretty soon.
Yeah, let's hope that announcement comes soon, like in 10 minutes. But that's okay. We do have something else planned for you in a couple minutes. We are taking your calls, and your question is going to be one of the most popular ones that Bump and I have received over the last, 2 days easily since the news of DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett broke. Should the Seahawks just rebuild? Should the Seahawks rebuild? I don't want to say an easy question to answer, but it's a really fascinating conversation. That's going to be your caller question. Calls are at noon. You've got 20 minutes to think of your answer, to think about what you believe this team should do, the direction they should go in, and Bump and I are going to share our answers next.
The John Schneider Show.
With Wyman and Bob.
Brought to you by Pizza Hut.
You're down at the Combine. What's the biggest priority that you want to know about these players?
Yeah, I would say having our coaches here this year, interviewing the players in person and watching them interact, how they respond to the teaching, and can they teach the coaches. That's probably the most important thing this year. We didn't bring the guys last year because everybody was just installing our systems and getting going. So it's pretty cool having those guys here this year.
Hear the rest of this interview on demand at seattlesports.com and on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
The Lee Johnson culture to me is empowering all of your employees to do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. There are certain things that it doesn't matter what level of employment you are in our organization. If it's not the right thing or it doesn't feel right, they have the ability to take care of the customer and make the decision without asking a manager, without asking an owner. The end result is they can speak to the customer with more confidence. They're definitely more confident in what they're trying to provide the customer, what the customer is trying to accomplish, and just giving them a better experience.
His name is Justin Meek. He's the leader and caretaker of more than 300 full-time employees for the Lee Johnson Auto family. It's the united understanding among Lee Johnson employees that customers are the purpose of our day. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home and make price-boosting upgrades with no cost until close. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
Luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel, where comfort meets elegance. It's Mike Salk here, and this summer you can experience breathtaking Cascade views, world-class dining, and of course the best entertainment. Elevate your next getaway by combining effortless style with the utmost in relaxation. The hotel opens this summer with deluxe king and 2 queen rooms, premiums, grand suites, signature suites, and the breathtaking views of the Cascades and the Snoqualmie Valley. For more details, go to snocasino.com. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
The smart way to improve home comfort is a new heat pump. New heat pumps from Home Comfort Alliance provide efficient heating and cooling in one unit. Upgrade today and enjoy 18 months, same as cash financing, and up to 15% off through March. Visit homecomfortalliance.com.
I started Davis Law Group in 1994 to fight for the underdog. And as our team has grown, we've stayed true to that mission. Today, Davis Law Group is known for providing excellent service and even better results. Visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com to get your free book on car accident law.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
The John Schneider Show.
Every Thursday until draft day on Wyman and Bob.
Listen live Thursdays at 4 p.m. or watch the interviews on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Bombas makes the most comfortable socks, underwear, and T-shirts.
Warning, Bombas are so absurdly comfortable you may throw out all your other clothes.
Sorry, do we legally have to say that?
No, this is just how I talk, and I really love my Bombas.
They do feel that good. And they do good, too. One item purchased equals one item donated.
To feel good and do good, go to bombas.com/radio and use code radio for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com/radio and use code radio at checkout.
Jackson Hewitt wants you to save money on tax prep. We're saving money by having our intern rap in this commercial.
Don't stress, Jackson Hewitt's got expert tax prep, $149 or less. Yo, some tax guys lie about price. They got hidden fees, that ain't nice. Ain't nice. Don't ignore MC Kevin's rhyme, cause this deal's for a limited time. $149.
For tax prep that's $149 or less, hurry into Jackson Hewitt today.
No cap.
Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now all you have to worry about is Pen cheating at charades.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
One question being discussed when it comes to the Seahawks is what if they rebuild? What if this doesn't stop with a DK trade? What if this is a team that actually gets rid of more pieces and just tries to really shoot for building in 2025 as opposed to competing? This is mostly spawned by just general rumor and also some sound from Daniel Jeremiah on Move the Sticks.
You know, Aaron Rodgers, as he was getting towards 40, was still playing, MVP level football. Tom Brady, obviously, on the other side of 40, championship level football. And I think there's a lot of people that are kind of forgetting those are exceptions. That is not how it normally goes. We've seen a lot more quarterbacks. Geno's 34. Think about Cousins last year. Think about Russell Wilson's fall off. We've seen a lot of those guys kind of fall off. So if you're Seattle, is this almost like the fact that Lockett's gone and maybe they trade DK Metcalf? Geno's 34. Would it shock you at all if Seattle said, you know what, maybe we could, because the quarterback situation is not great around the league, and we'd have to find, maybe we could try and make it work with Fields, who's younger, at least take a shot at somebody younger. Maybe we traded Geno and DK and kind of regroup and reset here.
Do you regroup and reset if you're the Seahawks? That's going to be your caller question in just a couple minutes. Bump, what's your answer?
Regroup and reset. Only one side of the ball.
Yeah.
Only one side of the ball needs like some work, and that's the offense. And Lockett not being here, DK potentially being gone, and who knows what's going to happen with Geno. I think you're just looking at one wing of the house and saying the West Wing needs some work, babe. Let's do something with it. I don't think because of what you have on defense with Leo, with Ernest, with Spoon, with Moffitt, with all those guys over there, this ain't a rebuild. This is we got some work to do type stuff. I think that should be the approach. Now, the Justin Fields conversation is interesting. I think that it's one you have to have as well because of Geno's age, even though I think that quarterbacks are going to start playing longer just because of technology and how we take care of their bodies or whatnot. But I think that's a conversation you have to explore. We talked about it last year, about Justin Fields and possibly bringing him over here and being the backup. Why? Because you feel like you're at a place where you don't have the for sure thing at quarterback. You got a good thing. You got a thing that I feel is good enough to get you into the playoffs, to keep you competitive, to make things interesting if he's supported the right way. But if Justin Fields were to come over, I think you still kind of have the same thing, just younger. You got more time to develop and to make things happen. So because of the way that Geno is being viewed because of his age, yeah, you got to have that conversation about bringing over another quarterback, Justin Fields, and just explore the possibilities.
Yeah, I'm on board with you because it's really focused on one side of the ball. Like, it feels silly to say for a team that won 10 games last year, easily could have won, 11 if like a pick six doesn't happen or if a field goal or a point after touchdown goes your way. This is a team that needs to find a long-term answer at quarterback. And I think what's happening is this. I would like the Seahawks to extend Geno. I would also like the Seahawks to use a first-round pick next year in 26 or in 27 on a quarterback. I think it gives you the best chance to find your franchise guy. There are a lot of busts in the first round, but there are also a lot of answers. Where people get is, well, how do you get that first-round pick then? How do you make sure it's high enough? And so for people that say, forget competing. I want that high first-round pick because I want that quarterback.
Right.
It's rebuild, reset, tear it all down, get rid of money, clear the books. I don't want that. So I am thinking of more creative measures to get that first-round pick in 26 or 27 that do not involve tanking, that do not involve resetting, that do not involve rebuilding, because most of the time that breaks a culture in a locker room, and I don't think that that is worth the cost of a shot at a quarterback.
That's what's tough because unless this team is really bad, you have to be really creative on how you're going to get that first-round pick, that high first-round pick to get yourself that quarterback. That means you have to get rid of some assets. So are you willing to get rid of assets to grab that first-round pick that you think is going to be a for sure thing? I don't know. I think at this point I'm not, because I feel like this team has taken steps in the right direction on the other side of the football. Still got some work to do on offense. But because of what's happening over there, that makes me feel like you don't necessarily need a top 10 pick at the quarterback spot because he's going to be supported defensively. Jalen Hurts, he's surrounded by the most complete team I've seen in a very long time. It's hard to do that. The Eagles have done a great job offensively, defensively. It's beautiful to watch. Not saying you have to be exactly the Philadelphia Eagles, but that's a model. That's a model now. We don't know what we don't know or until we see it. And we've had a lot of conversations about what you can't do with salary cap, what you can do, what you should do. And we're looking at the Philadelphia Eagles, who grabbed a quarterback in the second round, who obviously got the best running back in the game right now, but they just kept adding little pieces to the puzzle, little pieces, and then you have this complete set. That's the approach the Seahawks have to take, because I don't see a world where they are 3-14, 2 and whatever, and struggling just to stay afloat. I just don't see that happening. So if that's your mind state, I think it changes the way you look at the construction of a Super Bowl contending team.
Well, and let's be real. You can look at Mike Macdonald now with a favorable lens, but if this team wins 2 teams because they shipped everyone away in 2025, you are not going to be kind, you being like a general Seahawks fan maybe right now, to Mike Macdonald. There's a lot of anger and frustration that comes from those losing seasons, and it has to go somewhere. So if you're looking at the Detroit Lions going, well, look at Detroit. They built up all these high draft picks by just basically failing for so many years, and Dan Campbell coached them through, kind of starting at their lowest point and building up. Key being, Dan Campbell's first season was not a 10-win season that then backtracked to a 2, 3, 4-win season.
Mm-hmm.
Every season he was adding wins, and every season they were adding talent. When you bring in a coaching staff, have a successful season, you didn't make it to the playoffs, but you won more games than you did the year prior. Where do you go from there? You can only go up. You can only go up. You cannot take steps back without people asking a lot of questions and starting to fear whether you've got the right answers.
And fans aren't the most patient people in the world either. And I'm not saying you should be, but that's the reality of the situation is that if you do bring over a younger quarterback, he's still going to need receivers to throw the ball to. He's still going to need an offensive line to protect. He's still going to need that defense on the other side of the football to play the way that they've been playing. Your needs will still be the same in some areas. What you gain is a longer runway. You have more time to try to figure this out at that position, but at the same time, Spoon will get older. Reek will get older. Ernest will get older. Knight will get older. Now, they're young, about 24 on average on that side, so that's good. But the quarterback position is so important that you can't play with it. You have to go for not the for sure thing, but the closest to a for sure thing that you have in that moment to maximize what's going on around you, unless you are the Cleveland Browns or one of these other teams who are just struggling every single year.
Yeah.
So you have the conversation about Justin Fields and bringing a younger quarterback in because you have to, because you're constantly doing that unless you are one of the 4 or 5 teams with all pro quarterbacks on your squad. That's just the day in the life of being an analyst and a fan of a football team.
Again, Daniel Jeremiah, interesting sound from Move the Sticks, wondering whether the Seahawks, after trading DK, might just reset, trade Geno, make some other moves, and for lack of a better word, rebuild this. Should they? 866-979-3776. Should the Seahawks reset this thing, or should they keep it moving? Call now.
4 down territory. Going inside the game with former Cougs and Seahawks wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
What part of football has changed, and do you like it?
2-point conversions. We are chasing points. The game has changed. 2-point conversions and 4th downs. So we're seeing coaches dive into the data like a lot of people do with baseball. And I like it, and it is weird at the same time because I'm not used to seeing these 4th down conversions or attempts and these 2-point conversions.
4 down territory. Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
This is the story of the one. As a quality technician in a food processing center, she knows that making the right call is the best way to avoid a recall. That's why she trusts Grainger's world-class supply chain to deliver the high-quality supplies she needs to help keep her production line, her equipment, and her customers happy and healthy. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum tax deduction and a vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is for you too. Stubborn fat is really hard to get rid of, and then there's all those gimmicky lasers, fat freezing methods, and prescriptions. Imagine a simple solution that takes just one day and provides immediate noticeable results. Introducing ProSculpt. ProSculpt uses air-assisted technology that's safe and gentle yet powerful, delivering instant fat-reducing and skin-tightening results. Performed by board-certified plastic surgeons while fully awake, ProSculpt contours your body with minimal downtime. It's designed to target those problem areas: waistline, neck, face, arms, thighs. ProSculpt gently removes unwanted fat and tightens loose skin with FDA-cleared plasma technology, all in a simple, guaranteed one-day procedure. ProSculpt is one and done. Schedule your free consultation at prosculpt.com for $250 off. For powerful permanent fat removal and skin tightening that works for ladies and you men, it's prosculpt.com.
When it comes to your roof, you need an expert on your side, and Asset Roofing is on mine. Let them work for you, too. You can find out more at assetroofingco.com. That's assetroofingco.com.
Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
Headed to the Sounder game this Saturday? Get down early and check out the Seattle RV Show. Sounders fans will be able to attend the show for just $5 before and after the match when they present their soccer ticket. More info at seattlervshow.com.
Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
ESPN's Brady Henderson reporting this morning the Raiders have contacted the Seahawks about a potential DK Metcalf trade, a move that would obviously reunite DK with his former coach, Pete Carroll. John Schneider told Wyman and Bob yesterday the Seahawks are eyeing the NFL draft as a deadline for making a move.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now.
Forget just trading DK Metcalf. Should the Seahawks do more? Should they reset? Should they rebuild? It's what Daniel Jeremiah was wondering on his Move the Sticks podcast, and it's the question we're asking you guys right now. For the record, Bump and I were just talking about it, and both of us said no. But I'm welcoming, as is Bump, other opinions. So 866-979-3776. Should the Seahawks rebuild? Let's start with Scott on line 1 from Birch Bay. Scott, what do you think?
I don't think they should, specifically with the roster. I think trading to accumulate a draft pick or something to get a quarterback that may or may not be there, may or may not work out when, even if you draft them, doesn't work. You know, look, Trevor Lawrence is supposed to be the best quarterback that ever lived, and now he's an average NFL player. what I really think they need to do is not spend future cap money to sign cap-friendly deals and such to add to a roster for a 2025 that probably is, we might be a wild card team, we might win a playoff game, we're probably not going to win the Super Bowl this year. Don't spend 2027 money this year to do that, so that in 2027, when you've accumulated that big money, you have some cap space available and can use that to fill whatever position it is you need, whether you've managed to develop a quarterback or whether you need to go out and get one. You have some dry powder at that point to go out and fill that hole.
All right, thanks
and,
we lost
the cap's everything in the NFL.
Yeah, agree with you, Scott. Thanks for the call. Scott's saying, I don't think you need to rebuild per se, but you need to be especially careful about spending future money right now.
Yeah, I feel that. His note says that they're not going to be able to compete for a playoff spot. I think I disagree on that point. At least right now, we'll see the DK and the Geno and how they replenish those positions. But no, that's just smart. That's smart, being a smart GM at this point. You don't want to roll the dice the way that the Rams did and put themselves in a situation. Even though they did roll the dice and it worked out for them, I don't think that the Hawks are in the same position that those guys were in. I have no complaints with that call at all.
Yeah, it's not a complaint, but the only thing I wonder is, would Geno hold out if he didn't get or demand a trade if he didn't get a contract extension? And if you're giving a contract extension to Geno, like maybe it's a 2-year deal, but I would guess there would be some money on the books in 2027. I'm not entirely sure, but that may be an inevitable thing that you have to do. You can also count on the salary cap being much higher than it is now in 2027. So maybe you front load a deal and then have kind of the opposite of what would typically happen, right? Normally you like backload it because you're like, well, I'm just going to extend this player again. But if you know that this is his last contract, maybe you lighten the load in the latter half of the deal to where you have less dead money. I have no idea. I'm not a capologist, but I think there may end up being money on the books in 27 no matter what. Let's go to RC in Spokane. RC, should the Seahawks rebuild?
I wouldn't say rebuild. Hey, Bump, I met you passing down in WSU. You play my boy Don Turner. Just want to say hi, man.
What's up, man?
But no, I don't say rebuild. I say we take, like when Pete came. The first year we go to the playoffs, beat the Saints, whoop-de-whoop, exciting. The second year, what happened? We have all those picks. We kind of take a step back. Third year, we go to Atlanta, almost make NFC Championship. I think that we kind of are in that same position. I think we got to decide what we're doing with Geno. Obviously, it looks like we're moving on from DK. Tyler's gone. But identify those players that fit that system now. Don't, like the last caller said, don't overspend on players just to try to go all in this year, try to look forward to the next 2026, 2027, and beyond. But I think we can still make the playoffs this year with the team we got.
Thanks for the call, RC. Bump, what do you think?
Yeah, this is what the Hawks have. You have a backfield that I feel like the three-headed monster is good to go. You have a number one receiver in JSN. You have a quarterback that is capable of giving you an opportunity to get into the playoffs if he's protected. Now it's just about getting creative with your 18th pick, your second-round pick, free agency. That's why I'm holding back my opinion when it comes to if they're able to make the playoffs or not. I think that before all this went down, they were a playoff team, but I still got to wait and see what's going to go down. I'm trying not to just to react right now to the situation because there is a scenario where I think they add a receiver, they help the offensive line, and you look good. And the defense is the stronger half of the team, and they kind of lead the charge. So that's why I sit back and I'm like, I'm not ready to say that it's all over because we have seen young receivers come in and contribute. I hate having to rely on a young receiver, though you don't have to because Jason's going into his third year. He can lead the charge. But some things need to be done. But I'm okay with the more cautious approach rather than just going crazy and spending big dollars on a wideout or something like that.
Yeah.
If you're going to spend big dollars, offensive line. And we've spoken to people, experts with the offensive line. They say it's not the greatest market when it comes to veteran offensive linemen, but you can definitely still get better at that position here in Seattle.
Well, and maybe if you do get better there, we're not even having this conversation. I mean, with one of the worst offensive lines, like the three worst offensive lines in football, Seattle won 10 games. Think about that.
Mm-hmm.
One of the worst offensive lines in football. You had double-digit wins, and you were the only double-digit win team to not be in the postseason by virtue of a fifth tiebreaker between you and the Rams. I mean, if that's a 15th ranked offensive line, if you have luck go your way in one game, you're a playoff team. Now, where do you go from here? I don't think if they were in the playoffs, we'd be talking about a rebuild. It may always be a conversation with Geno because that's what you get when it's a bridge quarterback or an older quarterback. But I don't know, man. 10-win team makes me so hesitant to say, like, yeah, tear it down. But maybe you guys disagree. 866-979-3776. If the Seahawks do trade DK, should they consider just making some other moves to completely rebuild and reset and focus on winning in the future? Corey in Puyallup, what do you think?
How you guys doing?
Good.
I personally think the Seahawks don't rebuild. That's not really in the John Schneider's DNA. He's never done that. Even when Russ was gone, we still came up and surprised a lot of people. I think it's just next man up, Seahawks football. And with the whole DK thing, bump coming from a receiver, you can tell he's just not feeling it. I mean, he rounds off his routes, sometimes takes plays off, hurts the team when we don't need it. I mean, I love the guy, but it seems like he hurts the team more than he helps them at times, and kind of a diva too, to be honest. And I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's just the time's up with DK, unfortunately.
Hurts the team more than he helps the team. That's interesting. I think this call's analysis of DK, some of it is accurate. Sometimes he does round his routes. Sometimes he doesn't come up with the great
plays off too.
With the great catch. Every receiver takes plays off. In the NFL, if the ball's running to the right side and you're on the left side.
Lockett didn't.
Yes, he did. Trust
Lockett
me.
Didn't.
Every receiver takes plays off. It's called self-preservation. If I'm to the left side, the ball's running to the right, the far right, and the DB is up on me, I'm going to give a little move off the ball, and I'm going to walk it off because there's no way he's going to get to that. Trust me, every receiver takes plays off, okay? Even Tyler Lockett, even Jerry Rice, even Randy Moss. Just trust me on that, all right? But what I'm not mad at is your analysis of his route runner. He can be a better route runner, right? If you look at, say, like a Hines Ward. Hines Ward was not a great route runner. He was not. But what he did well was he blocked, he made big catches, and he found the right spots. There are some things that DK does that other receivers can't. So it's hard to just look at one receiver and say, he needs to do it like that. Every receiver can get better at something unless you're Jerry Rice, Terrell Owens, and Randy Moss, right? Though Larry fits in there, I guess. Larry could be faster. They're always something you can pick on. But to say that he hurts the team more than he helps is crazy to me. How many catches did DK have last year? About 60-something, 70-something catches. How many of those catches were first down? I'm going to say almost half of those catches. How many times has he made a big play on a third down, 70 yards down the field? I understand if you don't like DK, his style of play, and you want to point to his shortcomings, for sure. But to say that he hurt the team more than he helped the team is irresponsible.
Corey, do you have a response? He does not. Did we hang up on Corey? Okay, Corey's gone. 866-979-3776. Should the Seahawks rebuild? Call now. We got some open lines. 866-979-3776. Let's go to Bruce and Enumclaw. Bruce, should the Seahawks rebuild?
Absolutely not. I think our new offensive coordinator is going to come in, and rather than have this plethora of wide receivers, I think he's going to come in. I think he's going to add a receiving ends. And then also, too, I want to remind everybody talks about first-round draft pick for quarterback and everything else. Russell Wilson was the 75th pick of the third round. So I don't think we need a first-round draft pick. I think they're going to do a good job scouting for quarterbacks and everything else. And I'll take your answers off the air.
Thanks, Bruce.
Yeah, I think we're in a day and age where people are starting to find find more value in the later picks at the quarterback spot. Stacy, you've talked about this a lot, though, and where we went into the playoffs this year and one quarterback wasn't drafted in the first round.
I don't think it happens anymore.
Like, the chances of you going on a deep run without a first-round quarterback is rare. But I also think that we could be seeing a change in how teams are constructed to where they're not solely relying on the quarterback to win 100% of the ball games for them, to where they're going to get a run game, they're going to have a defense that can hold it down and bring this back to a complete team sport. It's almost like the NFL got caught up in the Steph Curry era. Just everyone wants to shoot threes from deep. shoot threes from deep. When you can realize you can have a team like, if you follow basketball, like the Cleveland Cavaliers, who have a complete team. They got a Donovan Mitchell who can drop 40 on you, but you got other pieces as well. I think that Philly has shown that it's possible to do that. Now, they hit and did well, and it's going to be hard to duplicate exactly that. But I think over the next few years, we might see a couple more second, third rounders get in there and make some noise.
If you go to like the Hall of Fame website for the NFL, they list Hall of Famers by round somewhere on there. You will find gradually fewer Hall of Famers as you go through the draft. That means you can find a Hall of Famer in any round in the draft. You never know if someone was overlooked for really stupid reasons. Maybe, there were rumors about a player before and he drops. Maybe a guy's a late bloomer. Maybe he just clicks with an OC or in a new system. But for the most part, you are more likely to find your franchise quarterback in the first round. And I think if Russell Wilson was 6'1", he would not have been a third rounder.
No.
Or if he was 6'2", he would not have been a third rounder. And we just drastically, maybe not drastically, but we do evaluate quarterback talent very differently now, in a way where athleticism also doesn't last that long. Like a mobile quarterback doesn't last that long anymore. All right, let's go to Zach in Puyallup. Zach, should the Seahawks rebuild?
Hey there, Bump and Stacy. Happy Friday. Go Hawks. I don't think we should rebuild. I think McDaniel is building on something already. I think within that wide receiver locker room, he found his leader in JSN. I think DK is not fitting in. I think we need to move forward. I love it. Let's trade him. Let's get something out of it. I don't know how much we're going to get out of it, but I really think no need to rebuild. I think just keep building off of what we got, keep working our defensive line, and I think we got our guy in the wide receiver locker room, JSN, who we want to build off of. I think he has a great attitude. I think he brings a lot of passion, care to what he does every day, and I think DK is a little bit on self-centered kind of guy, which is okay. But I think definitely JSN is the leader in the locker room, third down guy, hit him and burn him, and let's get another one. So I think we build off of what McDaniel is already working on.
Thanks for the call, Zach. Bump, I have a question for you, unless you want to.
Go ahead.
Okay. So Zach's main point is, yes, trade DK. I want those picks. Like, don't just keep DK and try to win now. But otherwise, there's a good foundation already in place. A, do you think there's a good foundation in place? I can guess the answer. And B, if there is, how do they build on that? Where do they go?
There's a foundation, I think, because you brought over Kubiak, got a new offense over there. I think you can develop a couple offensive linemen, and you have a number one receiver and a couple good backs and a decent quarterback. So there is a foundation. It's not the best foundation in the game, but there's a best foundation. Look, there is a scenario where you get better by trading DK. There is a scenario. I think it's difficult. I think you have to hit with that second-round pick. I think you need to grab a diamond in the rough, another receiver to come help out. I think that you need to hit with a veteran offensive lineman. I think you need to draft an offensive lineman to help. I think another offensive lineman needs to develop.
And this.
But there is I am not sitting here and excluding the possibility that you can get better by trading DK. I'm saying that the chances of that happening are just rare or low. The chances are low that it happens, at least right now. Maybe for the future you get better, but for a team like you mentioned, that's one game. That was one game away from making the playoffs. It scares me to think that you might be taking a couple steps backward. Though there is a way where you can get back to where you were, maybe take a step forward. Just a lot of things have to happen with so many concerns that you have for this football team. It's unsettling to think of a world without DK and not knowing exactly what you're going to get in return.
If you're the Seahawks, do you rebuild and reset? Let's go to Joseph, calling from Pennsylvania. Joseph, what do you think?
I say yes. They just don't have an offense line. They've been trying to rebuild. So, yeah, I think they should trade Metcalf and use them picks. And I think they should be looking for a younger quarterback, too. I mean, Geno is 34, 35, and it's just a young man's game anymore. So, yeah, I think they should be rebuilding. They got a good young coach, and, the guys start rebuilding sometime, so why don't we do it now?
Thanks for the call, Joseph. Joseph saying the O-line's bad. They need to get younger at quarterback. If you're going to eventually try to do it, why not do it right now?
You ever play the game, I might be jacking this up, Clash of the Clans on your phone? Anybody play that game?
What?
You play that game, right?
Clash of Clans is goated.
Clash of Clans, right? So what happens is like you're building like a village or community, and the more you produce food, the bigger you can build your homes. Like you're always trying to expand. You're always trying to get better and reinforce your crops and build a bigger hut and have a better hospital or whatnot. You're always doing
game.
that. You should try it out.
It's just The Sims. It's The Sims.
Essentially, something like that. Yeah, you're always trying to do that. I mean, that's what getting a young quarterback does. It doesn't mean you just eliminate Geno. It means that I have my home already, but I'm just trying to reinforce it. I'm trying to make it better. I'm trying to make it bigger. So, yeah, of course, that's what organizations do is they're always working to get better. It's not just, okay, you got Geno, so do nothing else. But it also doesn't mean that, okay, you bring a young quarterback in, now he's the guy. No, that's not how you nurture and reinforce your home and your foundation or whatnot. So download the game and see what I'm talking about.
I'm shocked that I haven't heard people say not only should you not rebuild, but you shouldn't trade DK.
No, I think people see.
I think people feel like it's
there's
inevitable.
value. There's value in trading DK. There really is, right? You get hopefully a second round pick. You can maybe change the vibe in certain rooms. Who knows, right? DK he's 27 years of age. If he's not happy, you don't want him to be in a situation he's not happy. There is some value there if all goes well.
Yeah.
That's what you're banking on, all going well.
Should the Seahawks rebuild and reset, or should they focus on competing as much as they can in 2025? Kelly in Port Orchard. Kelly, what do you think?
Absolutely not. DK is great, but if he doesn't want to be here, then let's trade him. Let's get something for him. Let's bring Tyler back. JSN was our number one anyways this last year. Bring Tyler back. Tyler's still a great player. And get some draft work on the offensive line, and let's move forward. We should have been in the playoffs. We were right there, and I think we can work on it a little bit, and let's keep moving forward. And rebuilding, I think, is not even close to an option. We're too close to, with a few positions, to really be moving forward and good this coming year.
Thanks for the call, Kelly. I agree with you. I think that they're too close to completely rebuild. And I also think there's layers of limbo.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people will be like, the Seahawks, they're in limbo. They're this middling team. You're stuck in the middle. Yes and no. There's stuck in the middle that's 7 wins, 6 wins. That sucks. And then there's stuck in the middle where you'll get 9, 10 wins, but you're just the third or second best team in your division.
Right. I'm not... Kelly also said bring back Tyler Lockett. I'm all for bringing him back, but not for a $30 million cap hit, though. Like it's a numbers game, and I think that's what's tough for Seahawk fans at some time is just detaching the emotion from who that player is. And it's tough for me at times as well, especially with Tyler Lockett. This is the toughest it's ever been for me, honestly, because I love Tyler Lockett, but I also know he's, 31 years old. $30 million cap hit, and he gave you 600-something yards last year. Like, for a $30 million cap hit, you need about 1,200 yards and 10 from that dude. And I just don't think you can get that from him. Now, you bring him back as a number 2 receiver, maybe, I guess, you can get something like that out of him. But it's just not – it's not the safest bet. You have to go a bit younger, a bit more explosive, and a bit cheaper. That's how you help support your foundation.
Let's spend our last couple minutes here looking at the Mac and Jack's text line for people who can't call in because they're at work and they chose their jobs over us. Wow. You're still texting under your desk. So I have someone saying it's scary to think, they're kind of looking at glass half full, glass half empty. It's scary to think what our wide receiver room is going to look like without DK. But it's exciting to think of the possibility you could have someone new and exciting that kind of helps you reset by virtue of just tapping into a great talent.
Yeah, that's what keeps you going.
Mm-hmm.
That's what keeps us going with the Mariners is, all right, well, maybe Robles is going to do it. Maybe Rosarena is going to do it. There's a freshness that excites you during these times, and I think that's the only thing or the main thing that people can hold on to because when someone doesn't want to be with you or they don't want to be in that situation, of course you start looking at all the flaws, man. You start looking at things that were there that you didn't even notice until you heard that they didn't want to rock with you no more. You're like, by the way, it didn't tie his shoe the right way. Like, you are looking at everything at this point. And I think that's a natural reaction for Seahawks fans who have already didn't want to deal with some of the stuff that DK brought to the table. And now that he wants to get out of here, they feel betrayed, they feel hurt, and they're nitpicking at everything, which go ahead and do your thing. But let's just not act like DK does not strike fear in defenses. I've seen people even text in, DK doesn't do anything to a defense. You're not watching the same film I'm watching.
So I have a very related question. It was the next one I was going to read you from the 360. They said, all these idiots saying to trade DK because you have JSN are stupid. JSN is who he is because of DK. I was going to ask if you think that's true.
Man, I think JSN is who he is because of his mother and his father and God, okay? But I also think that when you have a man like DK on the football field, it opens guys up. Now, listen, I don't know the football IQ of everyone listening here, and I'm not even going to disrespect you and say you don't have the football IQ. But let me tell you from a guy who's played the game and who coaches the game, okay? There's a young man that I coach, Efton Chisholm, just had his pro day at WSU. He's probably going to get drafted, maybe get picked up as a free agent, right? Teams did things to shut him down. He was a slot receiver. They brought a nickel over. They brought that safety down. They would bring the edge rusher to reroute him. 3 guys paid attention to that one man. You know who ate? Everybody else around him, because he required that much attention. Those are the type of things that a DK does. And now when DK's getting that attention, JSN eats. JSN gets that attention, DK's going to eat. It goes back and forth. It bounces back and forth. Now, there are defenses that are fundamentally sound, and maybe they don't give one receiver as much attention as the other receiver. But I'm telling you, man, if you want to have an explosive pass game, you need a guy that has the eye of that other safety, who has the eye of that other linebacker, that just helps create space. Some guys can get it done by themselves. Randy Moss, Jerry Rice, T.O., Jamar Chase, for sure. But I think in this situation, of course, they make each other better.
All right, let's take a look around the NFL at what some other teams are dealing with this offseason. That's next.
The John Schneider Show.
Every Thursday until draft day on Wyman and Bob.
We are now speaking with the architect of your Seattle Seahawks.
How we doing, football fans? With Seahawks President of Football Operations and General Manager John Schneider.
My job is to do what's best for the Seattle Seahawks organization. I have to keep wrapping my mind around that and trying to communicate effectively.
Listen live Thursdays at 4 p.m. or watch the interviews on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
What's the standard the Seahawks defense needs to be held to under Mike McDonald?
The John Schneider Show.
Brought to you by Pizza Hut.
Meanwhile, at Xfinity. So, influencer life going well?
Oh, yeah. I'm up to 32 followers.
Oh, that's something.
Yeah, posting my tap dancing videos is easier than ever because we engineered Xfinity Internet with 99.99% network reliability.
Plus, Xfinity Mobile with Wi-Fi Power Boost gives you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and on the go. But wait, tap dancing? You don't tap dance.
Hey, what I lack in skill, I make up with passion.
Do more of what you love and love how fast you do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. Through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and 1 unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for 1 year and save over $1,000 in your first year versus other major carriers. Plus, ask how to get iPhone 16e on us. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment tax and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. Savings compared to Verizon 5G Internet plus 1 unlimited welcome line and AT&T Internet 300 plus 1 unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Actual savings vary.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. Call 800-948-7878. That's 800-948-7878. 800-948-7878.
The nonprofit Puget Sound Senior Baseball League plays real baseball on the best fields.
The season's next tryout for adults ages 18 to 65 and older is this Saturday, March 8th at Hogan Park at Russell Road in Kent. With 10 divisions featuring different age and skill levels, there's room for almost every ball player, from ex-Little Leaguers to high school and even former college and pros. Get all the info at pssbl.com. That's pssbl.com.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum tax deduction and a vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
4 down territory. Going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bumpin' Stacy.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from
We can be twinsies.
to
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom.
freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother was saying he got life insurance from Ethos. With Ethos, it only took 10 minutes, and he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Build monthly.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Roberts and Harris, recently released from the Seattle Seahawks, had a visit with the Cardinals today per NFL Network's Tom Pelissero. How often do you think teams within the same division sign a free agent who previously played on that team, then ask them all kinds of questions about it?
I'm sure it happens.
I think it happens.
Not a lot, though. I don't think they're like, all right, this is all about them.
Yeah.
Sit down.
You were here for half
I know,
the season.
It's in casual conversation. You know, have you ever had like a conversation with a friend who was a friend of a person like you didn't really like, but then you, every now and then you throw something, oh, what about this? And then they mention it and it's there, but I don't think you focus on it the whole time you're sitting there.
There's this really funny skit, or like a video, I should say. It's a TikTok. I forget her name. She's formerly Miss New York, and she's so funny. But her and her friend, it's like when you realize you both hate the same person, and it's like, oh, Kelly's great, right? No, I love Kelly. I love Kelly. It's just Kelly kind of, right? You saw it too, and they both start talking trash.
Yep.
The Commanders are releasing veteran defensive tackle Jonathan Allen. This after they failed to net anything in a trade for him.
I'm sorry. Read that again for you, boy.
So Jonathan Allen had already requested a trade. The Commanders couldn't get anything, so they're releasing him. Veteran defensive tackle, Seahawks maybe have enough there.
I mean, Dre Jones is gone, right? Roy Robinson Harris is gone. You explore it. When you have made the moves that you made on that defensive line, even if you feel like you're okay and you're good to go, you're still going to look at it. So I expect them to kick the tires and see what's up with that. But it's always funny when organizations allow players to go out there and seek a trade. And most of the time they do it, they're like, you're not going to find anything. We've already done our research. Maybe your agent knows someone that we don't and they could broker a deal or something. It's unfortunate, man. I hope he finds himself a spot to play. I'm sure he will, and I'm sure the Seahawks will take a look.
I don't know how much of his tape you watched last season, but how about this name? The Titans are releasing pass rusher Harold Landry. Landry had 9 sacks last season and will only be 29 this season.
Didn't watch much of his tape. Know who he is.
Right.
Like the numbers when it comes to sacks and his age. Kicking the tires on this one as well.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like, okay, let's see what's going on there. Anytime I'm like, oh, I definitely know who that person is and remember when it was a big deal. NFL Network's Ian Rappaport says it's looking more and more likely not that Cooper Kupp gets traded, but that he gets released. And I have that cut right here.
More likely than not that it's headed for a release. Someone could trade for him. This could happen. It could literally happen as I'm talking, but that's what it seems. And for Cooper Kupp, like, he's not going to make $20 million anyway, so him being free is really not a terrible thing at all. He's a veteran receiver. He's got plenty left. He's not going to be that expensive. He's already made money. He's won at the highest level. This could be somewhat a great free agent acquisition. I would be surprised if it ended up in a trade. I'll say that.
Weird that 3 NFC West teams are moving a big name receiver this offseason, or are expected to.
He's not going to get $20 million. Go ahead and call Cooper Kupp's people. As soon as he is released, you go ahead and do that. If the Hawks were able to do that and grab Cooper Kupp, I'd feel so much better about this receiver room off top. And then you add maybe a young guy. You let Jake Bobo do his thing to Rick Young compete as well. I would feel so much better about the situation if Cooper Kupp was a guy that they looked at. And in this offense, too, because it's similar to the one that he's running over there with the Los Angeles Rams. So, yeah, Cooper Kupp, he's been paid. He just wants to be in a good situation. I wonder if he's looking at Seattle.
It's always crazy looking at the top of a free agent list for certain position groups when those players are all older or injured. Like, if this was 2021 and I was like, listen, Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs, Cooper Kupp, they're all going to be available. You'd be like, whoa.
Yeah.
That's insane. How quickly things change in the NFL. Still, I think all 3 of those can do damage with a new team. Would the Broncos do business with the Seahawks ever again? Bill Barnwell thinks that they'd be a great fit for DK Metcalf.
I look towards the AFC and a team that already has a quarterback that I wrote about in my column today in DK Metcalf, and that is Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos. I just think back to all those great Sean Payton offenses in New Orleans. What did they have? They had a big body who could work the middle of the field. It was Marquise Colston, the Hofstra grad, early on, Jimmy Graham, Michael Thomas. I don't know if the Broncos had that guy last year with Bo Nix. Cortland Sutton's a big player, but not the same physicality that DK Metcalf has. Bo Nix was 25th in the league in passer rating on in-breaking routes last year per the NFL's next-gen stats. Get him that big body while you have Bo Nix on a rookie deal. I think that would make total sense for the Broncos, as, of course, like everyone else in the AFC, they try and chase down the Kansas City Chiefs.
Do you think DK makes total sense for the Broncos?
Stacy, DK makes total sense for anyone who plays football in the National Football League. Straight up.
Fair answer.
Unless you have a duo like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins over there, you need a number 2 at minimum. Yeah, DK Metcalf, but I like this for them. Cortland Sutton is a big receiver, 6'4", 215. Like, was that Barnwell who was speaking? Barnwell, like he said, he's not a physical type of receiver the way that DK is. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes complete sense. I think I might have mentioned it last week or a couple of days ago. If I didn't mention it, it was in my notes. I was looking at the Broncos thinking this could be a spot for him. DK could go anywhere and help any team right now.
Honestly, if the Seahawks and Broncos hadn't formally had the Russell Wilson trade where the Broncos were just burned by that one, it would seem like such an obvious thing that we'd be jumping to so quickly. The only thing keeping me from going, oh, yeah, could totally be that team, is wondering if they feel like no more.
Yeah.
The personal history
I'm
is
done.
You know what I mean?
You've hurt me already.
Yeah. Per CBS Sports' Jonathan Jones, the Bengals are seeking at least a late second-round pick or early third-round pick for Trey Hendrickson.
Now the Bengals are doing this move because you got to pay people, right? You got to pay T. And Jamar Chase is going to get paid as well. Hendrickson is 31 years of age. So he's coming off of 2 really good seasons. But I think that you start going risk reward. Like, has he hit his ceiling? Is there more left in there? Is there something that they know about him that we don't know as far as his recovery? And I think that's something that we don't take into account because we're not in the building every single day. It could have been hard for him to get up for every single practice, every single game. Who knows?
Yeah.
Some guys just get through the weeks and they ball out on Sundays. That's the way Walter Jones was. My locker was right next to him. He did not practice at all. Yeah. And I saw the things that Walt was doing just to get ready for the games on Sunday. When he played, you couldn't tell that he was hurting, but my man was banged up. So maybe that has something to do with it. Again, I don't know. Just we're not there every single day watching him prep.
This is the kind of trade a contender should make and no one else. Like, if I'm the Titans and I have the number 1 overall pick in the draft, I am not sending draft picks for Trey Hendrickson. Even if he has 12, 13, 14, 15 sacks in 2025, what's it mean to me if my new rookie quarterback has like 22 touchdowns to 16 interceptions and I'm still figuring out, the rest of my team and I got to figure out some pass catchers and, Traylon still isn't working out. No, this is a trade the Eagles should make. This is a trade, maybe like the Chiefs or even the Commanders, like a team that's like, we want the immediate return. We want Trey Hendrickson's age 31 season to be great, and we're going to count on if that's the only one we get, it's good enough for us.
That's a move, like you said, like a team that is right on the cusp of being really good, and you already have some young talent around. You don't do that and say, save us. Trey, come on. Is it Trey Henderson? Yeah. Save us. Come on, save us. No, it's like, all right, give us that extra little push that we need.
Adam Schefter threw water on the Cowboys being a possibility for a DK Metcalf trade.
It's fun to talk about the possibilities, but Jerry Jones once traded a boatload of draft picks to the Detroit Lions for Roy Williams and signed him to a big contract. It didn't work out. It's hard to imagine the Dallas Cowboys, with the holes that they have, going to spend $30+ million a year on DK Metcalf. Yes, would he fit there? Absolutely. Would he make a difference? Absolutely. But again, is that part of being selectively aggressive? And I think that's probably outside the realm of selectively aggressive.
Nixing the idea.
They need a number 2 receiver over there. CeeDee Lamb is fighting for his life all by himself, but if you watch the Cowboys play at all, it's about that defense, right? You need Dak Prescott to look like the guy that we saw before he got his big deal. You need him to stay healthy. You need running back help as well, but you got to be able to stop defenses. I like the combo of DK and CeeDee Lamb, but like Chef just said, there's a lot more to do over there.
Last and most important story, because it's probably the most impactful signing of the NFL offseason. The New York Football Giants are bringing back quarterback Tommy DeVito.
Hey, for the culture, baby.
Hey.
For the culture.
Spicy meatball.
Oh, man.
Tommy cutlets.
You know where there's always that random player, and you're like, I don't know why. I always not talk about this player, but like anytime Tommy DeVito or Ben DiNucci would sign somewhere, we would just be like, Ben DiNucci.
Yeah. They got that feel.
Tommy DeVito,
they got that name.
Somewhere.
It just works. It feels good.
Stop it. Daniel Jeremiah was on the Pat McAfee show and says everyone he's talked to around the league thinks DK is going to this team. That's next.
The John Schneider Show.
Every Thursday until draft day on Wyman and Bob.
We are now speaking with the architect of your Seattle Seahawks.
How we doing, football fans?
With Seahawks President of Football Operations and General Manager John Schneider.
My job is to do what's best for the Seattle Seahawks organization. I have to keep wrapping my mind around that and trying to communicate effectively.
Listen live Thursdays at 4 p.m. or watch the interviews on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
What's the standard the Seahawks defense needs to be held to under Mike McDonald?
The John Schneider Show.
Brought to you by Pizza Hut.
Febreze.
It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
This is the story of the one. As a quality technician in a food processing center, she knows that making the right call is the best way to avoid a recall. That's why she trusts Grainger's world-class supply chain to deliver the high-quality supplies she needs to help keep her production line, her equipment, and her customers happy and healthy. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hi, this is Nancy Penrose, owner of Big Trees in Snohomish. Spring has sprung. Need color to brighten up your yard or privacy trees to keep your neighbors guessing? Now is the time to buy. With hundreds of trees arriving in the nursery daily, Big Trees has the perfect tree for you. Check out our updated inventory list online at bigtreesupply.com or come visit the nursery today.
When you switch to Progressive and bundle your home and auto, you could save hundreds, and that's a surprising amount of money.
Whoa, that's like farmer's market money.
That's like give me a gallon of that locally sourced raw honey money.
That's certified organic heirloom tomatoes in every imaginable color except red money.
That's let's get 2 pounds of pink oyster mushrooms money. I'm not even sure I like pink oyster mushrooms.
Guess it's time to find out, because you could save hundreds when you switch to Progressive and bundle. Then the world is your pink oyster mushroom. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay, things people love.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Celebrate the best of the best in Washington sports with the 90th Annual Sports Star of the Year Award Show on King 5. Legendary athletes and today's stars come together for one spectacular night of sports accolades. Hosted by Steve Rabel and Jordan Babineau, featuring Kenny Mayne, Cal Raleigh, Fred Couples, Jessica Campbell, Gary Payton, and Marshawn Lynch. The 90th Annual Sports Star of the Year Award Show, presented by Microsoft. Saturday, March 8th at 7 on King 5. Visit seattlesports.org for more.
Seattle Sports is in Arizona for spring training baseball. Go behind the scenes with Wyman and Bob all this week from 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home and make price-boosting upgrades with no cost until close. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
I'm Chris Davis, former King County prosecutor and founder of the Davis Law Group in Seattle. If you've been injured in a crash caused by impaired or drunk drivers, there are special considerations that need to be taken to protect your legal rights. Davis Law Group's team of investigators and lawyers know how to properly investigate DUI crashes and identify all parties who might be legally responsible for your injuries and damages. Call Davis Law Group at 206-888-8888 or get my free book at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
You're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
A quick injury update from Mariners insider Shannon Drayer, currently at spring training. George Kirby is being shut down for a short period of time after not bouncing back easily from outings. Shoulder inflammation, it sounds like, is the issue. Good news is that MRI says there's no structural damage, but bump, obviously not news that you want to hear.
No, you don't want to hear it, but if you're going to hear some injury, I guess this is what you do want to hear.
Not an elbow.
Not an elbow, not oblique, So just get healthy, take your time. And, again, a lot of things have to go right for this Mariners team to make a push for the playoffs, and him being healthy is one of them.
All right. We'll see if there's more updates as that comes along, but that's just the latest from, again, Mariners insider Shannon Drayer. Daniel Jeremiah was on the Pat McAfee show and says he's talked to a lot of people around the league, and they all think DK is going to the same team.
Everybody's saying DK to New England, man. Everybody in the league thinks that.
I like that. I
league.
like that, DJ. Keep spinning that
What do you mean
wheel.
in the league? What do you mean? You're getting texts from people around the league saying,
Yeah, DK comes available. You just talk to a bunch of buddies around the league, and they're like, that just makes too much sense. They have all the money. They have all the space. They have no weapons. The high second-round pick, what are they picking, like 38, something like that?
Yeah, and they got 2/3.
So there goes second-round pick DK Metcalf.
Okay, second-round pick from New England for DK Metcalf.
It's not warm. They're not contenders. But they do have stability at the quarterback spot. Yeah. So that's one box checked out of 3. I think we talked about this when it first went down. You clearly look at the teams with the most cap space in New England, one of those teams. Then you look at what they had to offer in the draft, the number 4 pick. You're not getting that for DK, but they do have the 38th pick in the second round. It's like, what, the 5th or 6th, or the 6th pick in the second round. Yeah, it makes sense on paper because DK can be the guy over there. I'm not too familiar with their offense, but there is stability at the quarterback spot. Now, my question is 1 for 3 okay with DK? Granted, he doesn't have any say in this. The Hawks can just do what they want to do and say, you know what? This is the situation. We couldn't get you to a warmer place. We couldn't get you to a contender, but we did get what we want out of this deal, which is a second-round pick. I can see it going down. This is something you and I have talked about. The only box that is checked is that there's stability at the quarterback spot. Drake May looked very good at the end of the year, and we'll see if it happens.
Yeah, New England can become a more interesting team, taking a really exciting player at 4th overall. Then you add DK Metcalf to that group. I mean, I don't know who the player would.
What if they went Genty at 4 overall? They wouldn't do that. What if they went Genty at 4?
I think it's like if Abdul Carter's there, you take him.
Oh, he might be there. He might be there.
You think Travis falls to 4?
Travis could fall to 4.
Anyways.
Yep.
But they could be an interesting team. It's just not going to happen immediately. Again, though, DK Metcalf doesn't have that no-trade clause. And if Diana Rossini's right in that the Seahawks asking price has just been way too high for most teams, not many teams have a higher second-round pick than New England. You know?
Yeah, I mean, you got Cleveland, the Giants, Tennessee, and Jacksonville. And Cleveland, not a contender. No stability at the quarterback spot. Giants, not a contender. It's cold, no stability. Tennessee, if they do grab Cam Ward, then I guess that would give them some type of stability. It is warm in Tennessee, but you are definitely not contenders. Jacksonville, you do have stability at the quarterback spot. It is warm, but you are not contenders. You got the Las Vegas Raiders, who I feel like would just be an emotional, personal type of situation for them over there. I wonder if they're talking to DK about this, right? Are they sitting there and saying, look, these are the offers that we have on the table. Which ones do you like? If that's the approach, then it's going against what John Schneider said, which is we want to do what's best for the organization. It can't be one-sided. But you would feel like in this situation, there has to be some back and forth because end of the day, the Seahawks have the final say in what they're going to do. I just wonder what the relationship is like with DK and how much information they're giving him during this process.
I would imagine it's something like, given how much cap New England has, I would imagine it's something like, this is the best offer we have. Let's say New England offers a second and a third or just that second rounder and like a late rounder, whatever. If they're like, this is the best offer we have, we will trade you here if you still want to be traded. But we're letting you know right now, this is where we're sending you.
Mm-hmm.
They'll probably pay you more than we're going to pay you. If you agree to this deal that we have on the table, we will keep you here.
Yeah.
So it's probably going to come down. My guess is it's like, John Schneider seemed open to a return. Like, I know he said, like, you know, it's
worst case scenario.
Worst case scenario is that DK doesn't get what he wants. But it's not like he didn't talk about it being a cordial conversation. He said the offensive staff would be excited to work with DK if given the chance. So I think there is a very slim but existing possibility that DK's in Seattle, and maybe it's because he looks at New England and goes, no thanks. Or
any other offer.
Yeah, or he looks at New England's pockets and says, that deal's going to be rich.
Yeah. Money matters. Money can change the way that you view the New England Patriots. It can change the way you view any team if you are DK Metcalf. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, it's about money. It's about targets. Could he get the money in New England? Yes. Could he get the targets in New England? Yes. Are you a contender? No, you're not. Buffalo Bills ain't going nowhere. Miami had a down year. And then we know the Jets, I'm talking about the AFC East, the Jets have talent on that roster to where if you get the right quarterback over there, you never really know. That's what it comes down to. Money and targets. And low-key, I'm picturing DK in a New England Patriots uniform, and he looks good. I see it in my mind. He just looks good. He feels
because
it
you have
out.
Randy Moss images, and you're like, it's just a big receiver or a tight end just makes sense.
It does.
In those uniforms. It checks out. Anyways, that's the latest on a possible landing spot for DK Metcalf. Yesterday, we explored a couple other teams that made sense. Maybe it's the Steelers. The Chargers are a really popular pick for a lot of people, but there was a report from Jordan Schultz that they'd already quietly approached the Seahawks prior to this news, and the Seahawks rebuffed their offer. So I don't know what their offer was. Maybe they revisit it, but
maybe
a lot of AFC teams on this list. Not a ton of
No,
NFC
get him out of the NFC. If you make a move, get him out. The only move that would get me excited about the NFC is if he went to the Commanders, because that's my second baby right there.
What about the Panthers?
Love watching the Commanders.
Not to make you excited, but look, DK, I don't know what to tell you. There is a franchise quarterback. They're still figuring out if they want him.
And then your relationship with Canales, what's that like? Does that mean anything to you there? You mentioned being contenders. You might be able to contend for the division, which will get you into the playoffs.
Yeah.
There are so many things that I think DK has to sit and really process, because you go into this situation and you want a few things, but then as the process gets drawn out, as your agent continues to talk to different teams, you get different offers and you see what's going on. When I was coming out of high school, I wanted to go to UCLA. UCLA was like, dog, we need you to take this chemistry class. I go, nah, I'm good. I don't want to go to UCLA. Then I went, all right, let's go to LSU. Verbally committed. Saw Nick Saban, went down there. Wasn't my environment. Nah, I'm good. And then ended up at Washington State. Like, because you start somewhere doesn't mean that's where you're going to finish. And I think that might contribute to a DK situation.
Let's talk with Ray Roberts about the DK situation and the Seahawks offseason priorities. He joins us next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
Once again, the Seahawks making news out there. Seahawks star wide receiver DK Metcalf has requested a trade from Seattle.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
DK, very polarizing guy, and we've talked about him and Gino most of the offseason. And I just never thought that it would play out this way.
We've seen very gracious moments with him. He's been great, which is why we've been defenders of his. Very surprised.
Don't miss an hour of the show. Find the podcast at seattlesports.com.
Hi, Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. With thousands of full replacements with expert craftsmanship and unbeatable warranties, we've been building roofs you can trust for over 5 decades. It's more than just a job, it's our promise to you. Protect your investment with a free Golden Pledge warranty on all GAF roof replacements over $15,000. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to schedule a free estimate. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
This might be the most surprising statistic I've shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
Collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. we can help.
PendergastLaw.com.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here with my buddy Dave Taylor from First Mark Insurance. So glad, so thankful that Molly and I made the call. Had heard so many First Mark Challenge victories, we needed to take that challenge. What does happen from your perspective when that caller, when that email, when that person reaches out to you for a First Mark Challenge victory?
That's a great question. So there's several steps we go through in the process. The first step is we're going to gather information, find out all we can about that client and what their needs are. The next step is we will go out to the market. We have dozens and dozens of carriers that will compete for the business. At the end of that process, we will then bring those findings back to the customer, show them what we found, and who the eventual winner was in that competition.
And it may be who they're with.
It might be, yes. And sometimes that's the best we can do is recommend they stay where they are, but maybe modify a few coverages to put them in a better position.
So go take that challenge today. Go be the next First Mark Challenge victory. It costs you nothing, and they will be there with you every step of the way. FirstMarkInsurance.com. FirstMarkInsurance.com.
Over the past decade, Washington state politicians have doubled state spending with no improvements to the issues we care about. Instead, we now have the third highest cost of living in the nation and a $12 billion deficit. It's time to tell legislators we need better results, not bigger taxes. Act now at affordablewashington.org. Paid for by people for an affordable Washington and Olympia, Washington. Top 5 donors are Washington Alliance for Competitive Economy, Microsoft, Madrona, T-Mobile, and Alaska Air.
Jackson Hewitt wants you to save money on tax prep. We're saving money by having our intern rap in this commercial.
Don't stress, Jackson Hewitt's got expert tax prep, $149 or less. Yo, some tax guys lie about price. What? They got hidden fees, that ain't nice. Ain't nice. Don't ignore MC Kevin's rhyme, cause this deal's for a limited time. $149.
For tax prep that's $149 or less, hurry into Jackson Hewitt today.
No cap.
Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC now recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
George Kirby is being shut down, at least for right now. Currently at Mariners spring training, Mariners insider Shannon Drayer says Kirby's being shut down for a short period of time after not bouncing back easily from his outings. The issue is shoulder inflammation. Good news is an MRI says there is no structural damage. Mariners GM Justin Hollander told reporters in Peoria that there's currently no timeline, though, for his return.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Ray Roberts joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Hey, Ray, happy Friday. How's it going?
It's going all right. How you guys doing?
Good. A lot of weird Seahawks news over the last 48 hours. I mean, we had like 10 minutes to talk about Tyler Lockett and kind of reminisce on our favorite moments before we got to DK Metcalf. And unfairly to Lockett, I will start with Metcalf. Ray, were you surprised by the news?
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised, but then like when I look at the leverage or lack of leverage that each side has, it kind of made sense. You know, if you're trying to, come back next season with a contract, you're on a 1-year deal, and also the draft market isn't that dynamic, and the free agent market isn't that dynamic. So you have a chance to kind of take advantage of the situation, and sometimes people get upset that players do this, but like that's part of your right to do it, and the team responds accordingly, and then see what happens.
Hey, Ray, at first, when this whole thing went down with Lockett, we knew this was coming, right? And I'm saying my farewells. I'm like, man, it's been great. He's older. The cap hit is big, but he should be all right. You know, you got Gino, you got DK, JSN, got to add a spot or two for this offensive line. But now with DK, reportedly, I'm wanting a trade, and it sounds like they're trying to get it done. He might come back, but they're trying to get it done. Now I'm looking at the offense a little differently, man. My head is tilted to the side like, okay, all right, we got a little more work to do. How do you view this team as it stands if DK isn't there? And what do you think the potential is with that squad?
Yeah, so, I've been trying to just think it through because you get so locked into these big-time receivers nowadays and the impact that they have and the connection they have with the quarterback, and you need a dynamic receiver and all that. But then I was listening to Paul Moyer yesterday on with Wyman and Bob, and, he was pointing to the Chiefs didn't really have like a big-time receiver. The Buffalo Bills, play that way. The 49ers have a group of really good receivers. So you can build an offense around, like a 1 and then like a 1C and a 1D and a 1E, so you can have like a really good core of receivers and then, have that one guy like JSN be the guy, and you can still be successful as an offense. And so then I go, well, then what is going to really make it go? And the thing that's going to make it go is if they take care of the offensive line, because it doesn't matter if you have, 2 number ones and a killer running back and all that kind of stuff. If you can't protect the quarterback, if you can't move guys on the line of scrimmage, if you can't create creases for the running back to run, if you can't create a nice pocket for the quarterback to throw from, those different types of things, then it really doesn't matter anyway.
Did you see enough from the offensive line, at least in terms of potential or building pieces, where you think that a one off-season step forward makes sense? Like they could actually improve in one off-season?
I think they can. It just, sometimes like, you want to go after like the best free agent guards that are out there and things. And sometimes you just got to find the person that can do what you want to get done the best. They may not be the best at everything, but they might be the best at what it is that you're looking for. And so I do think that if you're going to make that leap, you need at least one veteran, one of those 3 spots have to be a veteran. And I don't know that Tomlinson is the one that you want to have there at left guard. So I do think that you have to try to do make some damage in free agency. And then there's some pretty athletic, big dudes that play guard that, watch at the combine that they can maybe, pick a draft pick in this late in that 18th pick or maybe in the 2nd or 3rd round. I think you could probably find someone to build with, along with the young dudes that they already have. So I think the biggest thing for the Seahawks as it comes to the offensive line is the dudes that you get here, you have to be able to develop them. And you can't develop them by rotating reps during games in the regular season. That's not gonna help anybody get better. You have to have an off-season plan to get the guys that need to take that step forward, to get them to take the step forward, and then find some veteran dudes that can come in and play right away.
Ray, DK made a bunch of requests, right? I want to go to a contender. I want it to be warm, and I need a established quarterback over there leading the charge. And all is fine, but end of the day, he's under contract with the Seahawks, and the Hawks can pretty much do what they want to do as far as trading. How candid and open do you think these conversations are between DK and the Seahawks? Is that a common practice? Like, all right, DK, we're trying to get you here, but they don't have a quarterback. What do you think the conversation is like?
Yeah, well, I think John Snyder put it the right way. DK, has his list of things of of the what he desires, and then John Snyder said, well, we got to do what's best for the team first, and then what's best for the player second. So trying to find a contender and all the different things that you want may be out of your control, because otherwise you're under the control of the Seahawks. And so I think that just because of the dudes that have been here in the past, Richard Sherman, Bobby Wagner, those dudes you've had to have tough conversations with, I don't think this is any different. And so I think they're probably as candid as they can be, knowing that it is a business. If you take things personally, then that's when things kind of get out of whack. And that's one of the hard things for some of the young players to learn right away, is that it is a business first. And if you put your feelings and your personal stuff ahead of that, then you're probably going to be disappointed in some of the conversations and hear some things that you don't want to hear about yourself. And then it can kind of get things sideways. But even though with all the stuff that people say about DK, the penalties, or some people think he's a hothead or don't have the great attitude and all this stuff, the dude has always been pretty straightforward in the way he communicates. He's always come and worked hard. He plays hard. He's done everything that they've asked him to do. And so I don't see that there should be any kind of anything in the way of them being open and honest about what's happening and then how they're going to move forward with it.
John Schneider at the Combine said that this team is really going to focus on reestablishing the run, just to recenter and make sure that they're really solid there. He talked about how great this running back class is in the draft. It's just a very clear focus. It feels like part of the reason Clint Kubiak is here is that it's such an important part of his offense. I feel like 5 years ago that would be met with criticism, and yet I think a lot of people are excited about it. Ray, what do you think about it?
I think that people just kind of got enamored with all the quarterbacks and throwing the ball all over the place and letting Russ cook and all this other kind of stuff. The running game and the running back has always been a vital part of any offense that's going to be successful. Even if you look at the teams that are throwing the ball a ton and winning a lot, they're still averaging over 100 yards rushing per game. And so you need to still have the threat of the run and the efficiency of the run in order to have an offense that can get to the playoffs and get deep into the playoffs. And so my big thing is that, whatever it is that the Seahawks have talked themselves into as it relates to how they handle offensive linemen, they evaluate offensive linemen, develop offensive linemen, all those different kinds of things, it's time to actually the action has to speak louder than the words, because we've heard, hey, we want to focus on the running game. Hey, we're going to run first. Hey, we're going to, do this and do that and get this player in and that player in. But you have to do the things. You can't just talk about them and make people feel good about what you're saying. You got to go out there and do it. And so they need to get dudes that can play. They need to get guys that can coach them. They need to have a system that can develop them. And then they need to go out there and do the dang on thing, because otherwise it's just words on paper and words on across the airways on the radio. So I'm like the Missouri State. Like, you got to show me. And so it's time for them to show me.
As Nelly said, I'm from the show me state. Show me 7, I'll show you 8. I feel you, Big Ray. Hey, so I'm getting ready for life without DK again. I know we're focusing on DK, but that's the last big thing to happen, right? And I'm looking at this offense, this Kubiak offense, what I've seen of it in Minnesota and with the New Orleans Saints. And it feels like JSN can be a number one receiver in this offense, but it feels like he's going to need some help as well. With everything that's been going on with this team, with the offense, the receivers, and who knows what's going to happen with Geno, has that changed the way you think they should attack this draft, and how do you think they should attack it?
Yeah, it does a little bit, just because you're going to have to get JSN some help somehow. He's not the physical specimen and dynamic athlete that DK was, that can just run 3 guys off the ball and then still find a way to make a catch. So you're going to have to be pretty creative and scheming him open and getting him downfield for deep passes. So you need someone that could come and do some of that dirty work. I heard you talk a lot about, when you certain routes, you just have to clear a guy out and run your route accordingly and make it look like the ball's coming to you. And you need dudes that can buy into that and do that. And then the other part of that is, Kubiak and the play action pass, the run game, really getting people to bite in on the run so that you can create some open opportunities and one-on-one windows for JSN. But I do think it does like whether you can appreciate DK or not, or you think that he didn't have enough production or whatever, this dude had an impact on the offense and for JSN and for the running game. He's one of the only receivers around the league that really enjoys blocking. And so he really did have an impact in the running game. So I do think that they have to look at this as like holistically versus just going like, well, what do we do for JSN? It's like, what do we do for this entire offense to be able to function at a level that can get us to where we want to go? And so they're going to have to really, it's going to be interesting. They're going to have to hit, some triples and some doubles and a couple home runs in a couple different places. And I don't know if you can do that all one off season.
Yeah, that's going to be tough. Ray, we have spent the bulk of the offseason talking about the offense for good reason. We're waiting on extensions, for Geno. What happens with this DK trade? We were wondering, whether they'd hang on to Tyler Lockett. The offensive line has dominated the conversation during the season. We have not talked a ton about the defense outside of wondering when an Ernest Jones extension will get done. But I just wanted to ask you about the defense as a whole. I think that that's really where this team can grow in a really positive direction this year. What's the next step you'd like to see them take?
Well, I think, one of the things that surprised me is, the outside linebacker rush end guys, Mafe and Derek Hall and Uchenna. And Derek Hall and Mafe down the stretch, the second half of the season, seemed to kind of they tailed off. Their production just wasn't what it was at the first half. And so I think, with the guys you have in the middle with Leonard Williams, if Jaron Reed is back, Byron Murphy, I think you have some dudes that can do some damage in there. And now you really have to get consistent year-round production from those guys on the edge. And then obviously getting Ernest Jones back in there. Ernest Jones is like a man's man, a pro's pro. Like he plays the game the way it's supposed to be played. He's physical. He's decisive in his decision making. Yeah, he may not be the A+ coverage guy, but he gets everyone where they need to be. He plays good football. And then obviously in the secondary with Witherspoon and shoot, my man's name is Reek. And Julian Love. They have some ballers. The defense is where they need to be. I just think from what they did the second half of the season last year, you can't like rest on that and go like, okay, now we're there. You got to keep finding ways to get better, keep producing and developing other players that can make plays and then be able to sustain that playmaking ability throughout the season.
Hey, how do you feel about the center spot? You talked about how guys need to develop. This is Olu's third year he's going into. He got some reps last year. Do you feel like that position is taken care of, or you think they're still going to be looking there as well?
I think you have to keep looking there. One, just because you want to have some competition there, and then two, you want to have a capable player in case someone gets hurt. The thing about Olu is that, to me, hopefully this offseason, he's really concentrating because he's plenty strong enough if you just look in the weight room and the weight you move and all that kind of stuff. But it's like how he uses that strength and power on the field. I don't know that his first step is really explosive, when he's get into the run blocking. And I think he really needs to work on that. So I don't know, Bump, you're the guy that has the training facility, so maybe he needs to do some box jumps or something like, I don't know, like that, but he needs to do something to really get that explosion, when his first couple steps in the running game. And then I think in the passing game, he holds up pretty good. Sometimes he gets his head down a little bit and gets beaten that way. But I don't know that they are settled on him being the long-term answer there. So I do think that they're probably going to bring in someone else to compete for that position, whether they're drafting someone, in that late in that second day or early or sometime in that, in the first day or late in the second day, finding a center that can compete against him because he has all the things that you want, except you wish that they're like a B level, and you want him to be like a B+ or an A- level, and so I don't know what he needs to do to get to that place, but I know playing with a little bit more power and pop is what I see in him.
He is an NFL analyst, and you will hear him during the regular season and preseason on the Seahawks pre- and post-game show. Big Ray Roberts. Thanks, Ray.
Thanks, Ray.
Hey, thank you guys for having me. You guys have a good weekend.
You too. Let's get to 4-down territory.
This is 4-down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down, Bump. How are the Browns making this whole situation worse with Myles Garrett?
by not talking to him. The owner, Jimmy Haslam, he's been owning this team since 2012. He goes, look, we're not going to sit down and talk. Jimmy, you're 78 and 138 as an owner. You've had 2 double-digit win seasons. You've been to the playoffs 2 times. You have 2 seasons where you have won 3 games. The best thing you have ever done is drafted Myles Garrett. That's it, right? And Myles Garrett is no chump. It's almost like he's refusing to talk to somebody because he thinks he's better than them, and I don't want to have that conversation because I'm not going to budge. Even if you aren't going to budge, there's still value out of having that conversation to see where one's mind is at compared to yours, and maybe you can meet in the middle. You gather information. And Myles Garrett ain't no chump. He is not a chump. When it comes, he's been on this team, 7-8 seasons. He's the leader in TFLs for the organization, 116. The next closest guy, Orpheus Roy. You don't know who that is, Stacy. 44. He's got 44. He's the leader in QB hits, 200. Cameron Wembley, next up, 69. He's the leader in sacks, 102.5. Next up, Bill Glass with 77, and he's the leader in forced fumbles. You're not talking to just some average Cleveland Brown player. You're talking to the best defensive player, probably, and I'm sure some old heads will let me know they're going to be some other players from back in the day. But a generational talent, and he deserves that conversation, even if you go into the conversation thinking, I'm not going to budge. I've had conversations with conflicts with significant others, and I go into that situation thinking, I'm right, she's wrong, I ain't moving. But then you start thinking, you start talking, you start hearing, you start reflecting, and then maybe you bend a little bit. You don't break, but you bend a little bit. There's just value to have out of these conversations, and to treat him as if he hasn't earned that sit down is ridiculous.
Well, it kind of makes Myles Garrett's point. Like, if part of the issue was he's like, this is a situation that I don't like for X reason. Maybe in this case it was no guaranteed money. Hear him out.
Hear him out.
Sit and talk about it.
You don't even have to agree. Just hear him out.
I mean, very different situation because the GM is going to be part of the conversations about contracts. But, look at the Seahawks and DK. All right, you want to trade? Clear communication. We'll tell you what offers we're getting,
right.
And then, we'll just out of respect for each other, kind of figure this out. Second down. Speaking of DK, he wants to go to a contender. How realistic is that? And who's the best fit?
I think something we probably haven't highlighted enough in this DK conversation, what he's asking for is just that, a request. The Hawks don't have to do anything he doesn't want to do.
Right.
They can keep him here. I wouldn't recommend it because he wants to be out. And they can ship him off to wherever they want to ship him off to. As long as they have an NFL logo on their jersey, they can ship him there. So he wants a contender. When I think of contenders, I think of Baltimore, the Bills, Kansas City, Lions, Rams, and I'm sure there's another one out there, but those are the first ones that I look at, all right? A lot of these guys don't have the cap room to do that. There's no way the Hawks are sending him to the Rams or to the Lions, right? You're in the NFC, heck no. I'm going to throw the Commanders in there as well. They are contenders. They went to the conference championship last year. But you're not going to get everything that you want. You want a contender. You want it to be warm. You want a stable quarterback situation out there, which most receivers want. I want to play where it's warm. I get all of that situation, but that's just not realistic when it comes to the Hawks doing what's best for them, because John Schneider says we have to do what's best for us. And maybe what's best for the Seattle Seahawks at the end of the day is keeping DK Metcalf and having him just come in and play out his year, but I don't think that's going to happen. But what I think people also need to realize is that DK was the 64th overall pick in the 2019 draft. That's a second-round pick. He's outperformed every receiver in that draft class, minus McLaurin, who has 55 more yards than him. He's got 10 more touchdowns than him. He has one less touchdown than Deebo Samuel. And with Deebo, you're throwing in the rushing touchdowns as well. DK has outplayed everyone in his draft class, and he's played like a first-round pick from that draft. You're not going to get a first-round pick. You're probably going to get a second-round pick. But to check off all 3 boxes, I think is going to be extremely tough. And it'd be nice if they get it done for DK and they get what they need in return. Both parties are happy. But in negotiations and situations like this, it's rare that both sides walk away feeling like, all right, I got exactly what I wanted.
Third down. What's a common trend in sports that will probably continue?
I got this one inspired from my man Sherm, because Sherm's upset that Tyler Lockett was let go, and he says other organizations were able to keep their guys for a long time. And I took his word for it, but then I had to go back and look and say, all right, well, how many guys have actually stayed with that one team for the duration of their career? And then I narrowed it down to just receivers, because Tyler Lockett is a receiver, one of the greatest Seahawks to do it. I'm talking the best 10 receivers to ever play the game according just to receiving yards. Jerry Rice played for 3 teams. Jerry Rice, considered the GOAT, might be considered the best football player of all time, has played for 3 teams. Randy Moss, probably the most freakishly talented receiver we've seen, played for 5 teams. T.O. played for 5. Isaac Bruce played for 2. Tim Brown, 2. Steve Smith, 2. You got Andre Johnson, 3. Now, there's 3 that did. Marvin Harrison played for 1 team. Larry played for 1 team. Reggie played for 1 team. Not saying that it can't be done. I'm just saying that it's just not typical because as athletes, we view ourselves differently. Tyler Lockett is probably saying, man, I got years left in the tank. I can go for 1,000. The Hawks might be looking at him and saying, man, I don't think we have 1,000 in you, and we're paying you too much. As athletes, we are delusional, and we feel like we are better than what we really are, especially towards the end of this whole thing. Every now and then, someone lives up to the hype, Jerry Rice, LeBron James, those type of guys. But those are rare. Oh, look, I respectfully disagree with Sherm. I think that this isn't a common thing, especially at the wideout position. Maybe at an offensive line, you had Joe Thomas, who played for the Cleveland Browns his whole career.
Kelsey.
Walter Jones played. Kelsey's going to play. Like, there are exceptions to the rule, but I think for the most part, guys move on and bounce around, especially once they hit their 30s when they think that they have more left in the tank and the team doesn't.
4th down. What would you love to see, but feel the chances aren't great?
I love to see DK in Las Vegas with Tyler Lockett and Pete Carroll.
A full reunion.
That would be great. Pete has already hired a bunch of old guys from his Seattle Seahawks staffs or whatnot. You take him to the desert, it is hot. Your quarterback situation might be figured out. They might draft Shador if he slides down there. Maybe they go get themselves a veteran. Either way, I would love to see him in the black, in the silver. I think that would be great. Him and Lockett are really close. Pete Carroll loves him. It feels like that's the place where he should go. But you're not going to be a contender. You're in a tough division. Teams are getting better. Again, it's going to be hard to get everything that you want out of this situation. But if I had to pick one place I'd love to see DK Metcalf go, it'd be the Las Vegas Raiders.
Well, and you're definitely not getting a first.
No.
They're not going to give you 6 overall. It is fun, though, to think. Brady Henderson reported the Raiders were one of the teams interested in trading for DK. It is fun to think of DK and Tyler, and you mentioned like maybe Shador slides, and now I'm just like, oh man, like you go from this team that once in a while you beat the Chiefs.
Beat them last year.
Yeah, I mean they kind of get the best of them sometimes. And then you re-sign Max Crosby, make him the face of your team, face of your defense.
Max Crosby, Bowers is over there.
Yeah, I mean all of a sudden it's kind of a fun group. Not a ton of depth, but some real potential to make noise.
They could be this year's New York Jets, all these primetime games. If you get Shador and DK and Lockett and Max is there, Bowers, it looks good on paper. It should be entertaining.
Or this year's Commanders, where there's a lot of doubt because they're missing, some key pieces, and then they end up impressing everyone.
Yep.
Let's see what's on tonight.
What's on tonight with Bump and Stacy, brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook at Muckleshoot. Now, here's what's on tonight.
Cactus League play. It's Mariners Dodgers. First pitch is at 5:40 p.m. George Kirby is likely to start the season on IL. We've got some updates on shoulder inflammation that he's suffering. That from Mariners GM Justin Hollander next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
There's a Twitter account, I guess, called Mile High Moments, and they found the video of Dave Wyman scoring a touchdown.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
Who needs Elway when you've got Maddox to Wyman?
My pregnant wife at the time, she missed the play because she was going to the bathroom. And I guess my mom went nuts, and my brother was embarrassed.
Is that the one you said you went crazy in the end zone, and you're like,
yeah,
I didn't act like I've been there before or something?
They were like, yeah, act like you've been there, but I haven't.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app.
Music that moves your soul. Cheerio, baby. Live at Muckleshoot Event Center, Thursday, April 24th. Get tickets before they sell out at muckleshootcasino.com.
Meanwhile, at Xfinity. So, influencer life going well?
Oh, yeah. I'm up to 32 followers.
Oh, that's something.
Yeah. Posting my tap dancing videos is easier than ever because we engineered Xfinity Internet with 99.99% network reliability.
Plus, Xfinity Mobile with Wi-Fi Power Boost gives you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and on the go. But wait, tap dancing? You don't tap dance.
Hey, what I lack in skill, I make up with passion.
Do more of what you love and love how fast you do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. Through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and one unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for 1 year and save over $1,000 in your first year versus other major carriers. Plus, ask how to get iPhone 16e on us. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment tax and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. Savings compared to Verizon 5G Internet plus one unlimited welcome line and AT&T Internet 300 plus one unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Actual savings vary.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it.
Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 to learn more. With AutoPay plus taxes and fees, plus $5 per line without AutoPay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Motorola Edge on us with 24 monthly bill credits and new line for well-qualified customers, plus tax and $35 per line connection charge. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
Do you want to lose weight fast and keep it off? I'm Dr. Ryan Coogan with Eastside Weight Loss Clinic, and I have a plan that has helped over 4,000 people in the Seattle-Tacoma area lose up to a pound per day. No surgery, no exercise, no box package food, and no drugs or injections with potential side effects. We have a team of health coaches that can support you every step of the way. Schedule your free 15-minute, no-pressure phone consultation online at eastsideweightlossclinic.com and also see our incredible before and after transformations.
Yeah, Mike Salk here, and I am one of those 4,000 people. I lost 35 pounds in just 8 weeks, and it's exactly as Dr. Coogan said. I lost that weight while eating good quality food that you buy at the grocery store, and it wasn't that hard. Call them at 425-588-0080 or go to eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Let our proven system help you lose 20 to 30 pounds or more in just 60 days. You can start our program in person at our Kirkland office or virtually from anywhere you live. Schedule your free phone consultation online at eastsideweightlossclinic.com. That's eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
The John Schneider Show.
Every Thursday until draft day on Wyman and Bob.
Listen live Thursdays at 4 p.m. or watch the interviews on the Seattle Sports YouTube page. You think your home is pretty cool until that summer heat hits, and suddenly your home isn't that cool. In fact, it's hot. Air conditioning from Washington Energy Services can help. Stay cool this summer with our biggest spring savings event ever. This month only, take up to $4,000 off an energy-efficient Bryant cooling system with exclusive Washington Energy rebates. Ensure your home is always the cool house with air conditioning from Washington Energy Services. Contact us today for a free estimate.
No matter how old you get, you always remember that one great teacher. Hi, this is Rick Riz, inviting you to join WSECU in celebrating Teacher of the Week. Great teachers inspire. Nominate a teacher you feel has changed a life in our community. This year, we're going to honor 24 great teachers with grants of $500, courtesy of WSECU, the credit union for Washington. Teachers are the real MVPs. Nominate an exceptional teacher now at mynorthwest.com/teacher.
This is the story of the one. He's responsible for keeping a leading healthcare facility clean and safe. And he trusts Grainger's high-quality HVAC cleaning and safety products, combined with their world-class supply chain, to consistently deliver, ensuring he's covered inside and out, so he can focus on keeping his facility clean to help protect the health of everyone inside. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Looking for the perfect engagement ring? At Shane Company, we know this is an exciting time. It can also be overwhelming. Customers say this a lot. Where do I start? How do I choose? At Shane Company, this is where the magic happens. Since 1929, we've been experts at helping customers find the perfect engagement ring. We invite you into the design process, help you pick out the perfect diamond or colorful gemstone, and choose a style that speaks to you. Come see us in store and at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
You're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We had some breaking Mariners injury news earlier this hour. Let's revisit now with some sound from Mariners GM Justin Hollander. George Kirby is going to be temporarily shut down. I say temporarily. He's expected to start the season on the IL, but Shannon, Drayer, our Mariners insider, says shut down for a short period. There's just no timeline attached. We've got some sound from Hollander, who spoke with reporters. I'll start with MRI updates.
First injury update, unfortunately, of camp. George Kirby has not been feeling great after his outings. In the outing, he's throwing the ball well, same velocity as you would expect. He just hasn't felt like he's bouncing back great. We did an MRI. MRI looks great. No structural concerns whatsoever, and I will repeat that, 0 structural concerns. There is some inflammation in there that we need to get out. So much to George's chagrin, we're going to take the ball out of his hands. George wants to keep going, and he's going to lose this argument. We need the inflammation out. So we will shut George down and work on getting the inflammation out.
Before I get to the rest of this sound, and we do have some additional updates about, him having suffered similar injuries and why they're shutting him down now. The first thing you said, because we got the news off air, was...
Yeah, everything's got to go right for this team to be in contention, and this is not going right. But that was before we knew exactly what the injury was. We knew that he was shut down, and we're waiting to see or get the details. So the fact that it's inflammation, for sure. Sit down, George. Have yourself drink some water. Get some electrolytes in you, and just relax, because we need you ready to go.
More cuts here.
This is more like a week-to-week thing than a day-to-day thing. We want to make sure that we're doing the right thing for the big picture of the whole season, as opposed to worrying about opening day. George will likely start the season on the IL, just with not having pitched a full buildup of spring. We don't think this is anything long-term concerning whatsoever. Again, no concerns with a structural issue. We just want to make sure we're doing the right thing. So we will reassess a week from now and see how the inflammation looks and see how he's feeling, and we'll go from there.
More on that decision to reevaluate.
So rule of thumb is generally however long you're down, you have to take that amount of time just to get back to where you are today. The opening day date is just a date on the calendar, and we don't want to let that guide what's the right thing for George. So we'll reassess where he is and sort of constantly sort of move the return to play date depending on when we actually feel good about it. But again, I would not anticipate that he's ready for the first 10 days, 2 weeks of the season, that he is an IL to start the year, and that we will build him up in a full way to make sure that he is not dealing with something for the entirety of the season. That just doesn't make any sense.
I feel like that left open the possibility that it could be a couple series into the season.
Oh, you said 10 days to 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, like you're adding on time. Like the longer it takes him, the longer they give him on the other side.
He said, look, the amount that he sits out is the amount that we're going to wait once he's healthy to get him back in there, right? Which makes sense. And it's disappointing in the short term because you want to go out there and see him do his thing. But in the long run, man, you got 162 of these things. Like, make sure my man is ready to go, and just take care of that arm, because if that rotation does not do anything remotely close to what they did last year, especially at the start of the season where we know that this team struggles a bit, it's going to make life tough on them. So you got Emerson will probably get called up, see what he does.
Yeah, so he'll be pitching in tonight's game against your Dodgers at 5:40 p.m. right here on Seattle Sports. This is, I'll be honest, I had the same reaction you did. So when we saw that, hey, George Kirby dealing with, an injury, I was like, oh, God. And it was the exact same thing of like, you're pinning so many hopes on these starters, and not only your starters, but your starters staying healthy and having great seasons. You're also pinning so many hopes on Julio. It would be like if I heard Julio's dealing with something and I'm thinking, oh, God, and clutching my chest, because it's like, you got all your eggs, figuratively in one basket, but in several different players. You can't have anything go wrong. You can't be the Dodgers who lost several starters last year and still made it to and won a World Series. Like, you need George Kirby. You need Logan. You need Cal. You need Julio, and you need them to be good.
You ready?
Yeah.
Golf. Okay.
I knew
okay, here we
would have a golf analogy.
This is like all my golfers out there. Let's come together on this. You ever played Echo? I'll take you one day, Stacy.
That's okay.
You ever played Echo? Number 17 is the hardest par 4
I could have told you that.
in the state. The hardest par 4 in the state. It's about 450 yards, something like that. 440 if you play from the tip, something like that. And it should be a par 5. And it drives us crazy, my guys who played Echo, because it's a par 70 course, right? Typically, it's at 72 is par. Just make that a par 5 and it's 71. We're closer to 72. But if you do not hit the perfect drive, the perfect second shot, everybody's playing for bogey. That is the Mariners. The Mariners are 17 at Echo. You have to play that hole so perfectly to even try to sniff a par over there. So that's why right now, with Kirby being out, I just pushed one a little right. The water's right there, Stacy. Now I'm hitting 3. I'm hitting 3 right now instead of hitting 2.
I'm so upset that I got the analogy.
Because
That's
we here.
No.
We've done this for too long now. Let's go.
Let's see. I got one more cut on Kirby. As to why they're shutting him down right now.
Well, that's like the only other time he's ever had any issue. He's like, I think he missed one start in his entire career, and he has dealt with some off and on, just like, not feeling like it's bouncing back great. He was pretty adamant that this was fine, but again, it's March, it's not October. We need George for 7 months this year, if you're counting all of October, and so the right thing to do is to take it out of his hands and make sure that he is feeling great when he's out there.
Okay, so bad news. That's the bad news that I'm leading with, and the important news that you guys need to know. Good news on Jorge Polanco, who we felt like, God, we really haven't seen much of him. He just came back from that knee injury. Here's Hollander.
Polo, still tracking for opening day. Would anticipate him getting out there at third base in a few days. Not sure how the weather will affect the boxes he needs to check over the next couple of days, but we are days away from him playing third base in a game, so no concerns about opening day.
No concerns about opening day for Jorge Polanco, who's coming off of knee surgery.
I forgot that they were moving him to third. I forgot. I'm like, third. Solano, right? No. Polanco.
Just gradually working up to it.
Yeah. Well, that's good to hear. And we've spoken to a few people and heard some cuts from some experts, and they feel like Polanco has it in him. And they're not ready to give up on Polanco. There was a time last year where it was getting rough for Polanco. Yeah, fans booing and all that stuff. I felt so bad for that dude because he's not too far removed from playing some decent baseball. So hopefully the move to third base, right? Less stress on the body, less movement going on there, and he can just lock it in and be the guy that we thought we were getting a couple years ago.
Yeah, I thought it was. I threw Shannon the same question that I threw both you and Curtis yesterday in Hype Train, which was, hey, if you're going to count on a bounce-back season from one of Haniger, Garver, or Polanco, who's it going to be? And she said it's going to be Polanco, but it's tough because you don't know quite how much of last year was injury-related with a nagging knee injury and how much of it was stuff he might not be able to shake. Yeah. And she seemed to think that it might have been more related to the injury than not. And I'm kind of hoping. I'm just hoping that that's right.
You know what the Combine / NFL Draft and spring training have in common? It's just like everyone's optimistic about everything. Everything's just like, hey, well, maybe it was this, maybe it was that. And I think that's the approach you have to have. And hearing from Shannon that she thinks it was that knee that was bothering him, I will take it. I will take it because we need execution fairly quickly. There's no ramping up here. There's no warming up here. You need these guys to come out and to be doing their thing. So to hear that Kirby is probably going to be out, 10 to 2 weeks into the season, okay, that puts more pressure on the bats. But if you got 4 out of your 5 guys out there in the rotation, you should be okay. It's more about Polanco, JP, Julio, Robles, Rosarena, those guys coming in and doing what they're supposed to do.
What's your confidence level when it comes to Emerson Hancock, who has seen starting time before? Like, he's been part of your rotation before, filling in for guys. On starting the season with him, it feels like it makes it even more important that the offense start a little faster.
He's me when I used to go visit my dad in Mississippi and play ball on the big boy court. When I was like 15, they're all 30-some, 40 years of age. And you know what they did? They facilitated. They helped me out. That's just what we have to do with our young buck.
Get your questions in for What I Need to Know. Any question to the Mac and Jacks text line, 866-979-3776.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
There's a Twitter account, I guess, called Mile High Moments, and they found the video of Dave Wyman scoring a touchdown.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
Who needs Elway when you've got Maddox to Wyman?
My pregnant wife at the time, she missed the play because she was going to the bathroom. And I guess my mom went nuts, and my brother was embarrassed.
Is that the one you said you went crazy in the end zone? And you're like,
yeah,
I didn't act like I've been there before or something.
They were like, yeah, act like you've been there, but I haven't.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Hello. Welcome to Lee Johnson Auto family. This is King. This organization's a special one. They call it the Lee Johnson Auto Family, and it's not just a name, it's not just some cliche. They foster an environment for us to become a family, to work together, to really become close, and they show us in a lot of different ways that they do value us. Is it perfect? No, no place is. But I've been very thankful to be here in the almost 10 years and have every plan to stay here for a lot longer and just watch it continue to grow.
He's fun and professional, which explains why so many people visiting Lee Johnson Kia ask for him by name. The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto Family.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home and make price-boosting upgrades with no cost until close. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
I just had Asset Roofing come out and do a full inspection on my roof because I wanted to be proactive and handle any small problems before they became big problems, and they were extremely professional with their communication and recommendations. You really need an expert on your side, and Asset Roofing is on mine. Allow them to work for you, too. You can find out more at AssetRoofingCo.com. That's AssetRoofingCo.com.
Certified work that's never in doubt. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
There she is, founder and CEO. High five.
Yeah. Dave can't stop celebrating with every business owner in town.
All right, Baker Man, high five.
He's sharing the excitement of big savings with the Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee.
Ooh, up top, Bike Shop. Yeah.
It's 5 years of gig speed internet.
Quick, high five.
5 years of advanced security.
5 years.
And 5 years of a great rate that won't change.
Yeah, law partners. Chamberlain, Messethorpe, Dubois,
All from the company with 99.9% network reliability. Switch today and get the 5-year price lock guarantee.
5 years!
It's back, but only for a limited time.
Woo!
Powering 5 years of savings, powering possibilities. Comcast Business.
Can't forget you, voiceover guy.
Ah, thanks, Dave.
High five!
Ends 3/9/25. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge for new customers on qualifying internet bundle, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Get your questions in to What I Need to Know, 866-979-3776. Bump, you want to share some love before we get going?
Yeah, before we get going, big ups to Monroe High School's varsity basketball team, man. They were 22-4 this year, won their league, won their district, got into the state tournament at the Tacoma Dome. The first time in 30 years a Monroe basketball team was represented. A lot of those young men I've known since they were like in 5th grade. It's crazy to see what they're doing now. So big ups to the basketball program, Coach Prone, Coach Lane, Coach Bingham, other coaches. I'm missing you, my bad, but I want to show some love to the Bearcats.
All right, let's get to our questions here. Again, 866-979-3776. What I need to know. What would it take to get the Patriots first if they were interested in DK?
Their first? Goodness gracious.
So 4 overall.
Number 4, you got to give up DK, Gino, Thorne McDonald, Kubiak's cousin, and a janitor or two.
Maybe a new car that you got in the lot.
Yeah.
It's going to be really hard to get a top 5 pick for anyone other than a good rookie quarterback that still has some years
Yeah,
on his deal.
It's going to take a lot. You're rebuilding.
Yeah.
If you're trying to get that pick.
I also think the Patriots' second rounder might even be something they'd be hesitant to give up because that's a high second rounder. That's a good pick. But that might be something where it's easier to negotiate.
Yep.
Let's see. Why has no one thought about what Kubiak wants with this and who out there would be good to lead/run his offense? Maybe they mean to replace DK.
To replace DK? Who's out there? I mean, if you can get a Stephon Diggs, I'd take him, but it's going to be a lot of money. He's a free agent.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm okay with going with an older receiver because you have JSN for some stability, but you got to combo that with a young man in this draft as well. And then as far as Kubiak goes, I'm sure he would want DK to be there. I'm positive he'd want DK to be there, but he controls what he can control. That is calling the offense.
Yeah. Let's see what I need to know. So, my town of Pasco, Washington, a great part of eastern Washington in the Tri-Cities, is supposed to get the first ever centralized wave pool at a new water park next year. Congratulations. This is their question. Do you think water parks are more fun for adults than kids and adults just won't admit it? Or is it more of a kid thing?
If your kids are teenagers, then the adults can relax and have fun because they're most of the time they're strong swimmers. You're not too concerned. But if there are kids and their life vest up, it is just constant stress. Yeah, you're always on the swivel. Yeah. You're never relaxed.
Something about, and I was a swimmer in high school, something about standing like still water on concrete feels dirty to me all the time.
Well, it's filtered.
I don't like it.
Kids are going pee in there.
What I'm saying is I think water parks are infinitely more fun for kids than they are for adults.
Here's a question for you.
Yes.
Have you ever peed in the pool you trained in?
No, not when I trained in.
Liar.
When I was a kid.
You lying. You
no,
know
that's
you peed in that
disgusting. No.
You know you have.
Do you know how many other people are you're with your whole team in that
Everyone's
pool?
doing it, Stacy.
No.
Everybody's peeing in that pool.
I have not in high school with this swim team peed in the pool, I swear to God. But I absolutely did when I was a little kid. Yeah.
Man. You go to that water park, they peeing in that pool.
That's what I'm saying. Ugh, I can't even think about being around it. It's so gross. You would do that as a high schooler on a swim team.
I'd pee in that pool so quick.
No, well, you know what? Here's the thing.
Let's be real, man.
My guess is that there probably were more yeses on the men's swim team.
Probably.
Than on the women's. Let's see. What I need to know. Someone else said, what about DK in a first-round pick swap with the Raiders or Pats? I just think those picks are too high.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see the Patriots giving up a top 5 pick for DK. No.
Let's see. What I need to know. What's the best guilty pleasure late-night snack?
This corner store in Monroe, they have these custom, like, Mexican candy where there's gummies and a bunch of spice on it and stuff. I don't know. It's really spicy. And at night, I have it, and I try not to eat too much of it because, it's all bad at night. But sometimes your boy just goes ham and says, forget your workout.
What I need to know. We've made plans to have dinner with new neighbors. We all agreed on takeout. We're the hosts, so we have to decide. Help! Pizza, Thai, Mexican, or Chinese? If you were hosting.
Mexican.
Okay.
It's you can get,
You get a platter.
Yeah, exactly. Get the platter going. It's easy.
There's something for everybody on that. And then I'd say pizza second choice.
Yeah.
What I need to know, what's a bear cat?
I don't know.
It's a bear.
I don't know.
Oh, you're a wildcat.
We're the Wildcats.
Wildcat, not
This
a
is
bear
bear
cat.
down.
Yeah.
But it's a bear that is mated with a cat. Therefore, you have a bear cat.
That's
But
like Cincinnati. They're the Bearcats.
It comes up from there's a boxer in Monroe, and they called him the Bearcat for some reason back in the day. That's why Monroe, they're called the Bearcats.
Oh, okay. What I need to know, when driving, you a regular switcher of lanes, or do you stay faithful to one lane? I'll already tell you my answer, and it's why you would always beat me to Cairo, is that I stay in one lane.
Wow. I'm switching. I'm dipping.
Yeah.
If there's traffic though, and I'm just chilling. But if there's space, I'm doing my thing.
Bump and I would leave at the same time from VMAC when we used to take Thursdays at Cairo 7. Shout out Chris Francis. And he would I don't think I ever beat you there. Ever.
No, I don't think so.
I get a lot of anxiety when I'm driving, and if I know that I have to
That checks
exit,
out.
if I know I have to exit, I will get in the lane closest to the exit, like 3 exits before.
You just don't believe in your ability to get back over there?
No, because I just panic. It's like, I'm moving so fast. What if I get up there and all these cars don't quite let me move over in time?
But you've probably never been in an accident either, though.
Not a serious accident.
No, I mean, I've been in like some fender benders, but,
Yeah.
because I'll be dipping sometimes.
Yeah, I have been in a couple fender benders, but nothing serious. You know why? Because I'm a careful driver. What I need
10
to
and 2.
know- Yeah. Do you think Cal gets an extension this year?
Curtis?
It's anybody's guess at this point. I'm gonna lean no. I would love for it to happen though.
Yeah. Someone said 4 years on swim in high school and never even thought about peeing in the pool. You think about
Liar.
it. You think about it.
Liar.
I just think it's gross to do it, and it's weird because everyone else will know. You're right next to other people in lanes. They're going to know.
They're not going to know.
They're going to know.
They'll never know.
They'll never know. Who's going to know? They're going to know. What I need to know. Let's see. Da-da-da-da. What about DK and Seattle's first and second for Myles Garrett?
No, that's too much to give up.
It is too much. DK Seattle's first and second. Goodness gracious. Forget the O-line. Forget the quarterback position. That's too much.
If you traded DK and did get a second first this year, swap that first and pair it with something next year for Myles Garrett,
Possibly.
would you ever
they're
give
not-
up a first round pick?
No.
Not where this team is right now.
No. You need your picks.
What I need to know, do you guys think DK is going to end up getting the better end of the deal? It kind of feels like he might not end up on a contender.
That's what I'm saying. The Hawks don't have to abide by anything he's saying. They can try, and because that relationship seems like it's fractured now, they could try and nothing lines up with what he wants and just throw their hands up and say, all right, now it's about us. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's make sure we're good.
Does DK try to throw his weight around though by saying, I will not sign an extension with this team?
He could.
That would be the only card I think he could play in that instance. Be like, okay, you want
To
to
where
trade me
that
to...
team would say, then we're not doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be a rental.
Which no team is going to give up a high second, certainly not a first, for being like, well, we might not extend them. We'll see what happens.
Please read the last 206.
The most recent one?
Mm-hmm.
I've been in a swimming pool 3 days a week for 20 years. I've never seen or even thought of anyone around me that was peeing in the pool. However, I've done it many times.
Yes! Yes, let's be real. This is a real show with real people that pee in the pool.
I don't.
Real pool peers.
I don't. Stop peeing in the pool. This has been Bump and Stacy.
Keep your mouth closed.
If you missed any part of if you missed any part of the show, make sure you check out the Bump and Stacy podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google Play, or SeattleSports.com. For Michael Bumpus, Curtis Rogers, Ian, thank you. I'm Stacy Ross, Wyman, and Bob coming your way next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
There's a Twitter account, I guess, called Mile High Moments, and they found the video of Dave Wyman scoring a touchdown.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
Who needs Elway when you've got Maddox to Wyman?
My pregnant wife at the time, she missed the play because she was going to the bathroom. And I guess my mom went nuts, and my brother was embarrassed.
Is that the one you said you went crazy in the end zone, and you're like,
Yeah,
I didn't act like I've been there before or something?
They were like, yeah, act like you've been there, but I haven't.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app.
Are you working in the refrigeration industry? Are you staying up on current regulations? Well, Local 32 can help advance your career. That's right. Learn more at ualocal32.com. Again, that's ualocal32.com.
Did you know that most people wait 6 or 7 years before they buy a new TV? That's a lot of time in front of one TV. So why not get one of the best sets for the next 7 years, like one of the top-rated Samsung, LG, or Sony models? Too expensive? What if you could get up to $1,000 trade-in for your old set? Who would do a stupid deal like this? Right now, at Video Only, you can get big bucks for your old set as a trade-in and a hot price on the new models. Don't be sorry. Check out Video Only.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Hey, Brock Ewart here. And as a former college and professional player and quarterback in particular, the years of wear and tear and some of those hits left my knee and some of my body in some constant pain. On and off the field, the weight room, all those heavy squats and all of it. In fact, my knee was really bothering me last year. That's why I decided to try stem cell injection therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson at Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine over there in Kirkland. And really, it was an awesome decision. With Dr. Dan, the procedure itself was so quick and easy. In and out, same day. Next day, I'm out watching football practice, a baseball game, and the staff was absolutely A+. And my knee, well, it's a whole lot better now, and I'm back to squatting and enjoying a much better quality of life. Call Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD, with Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. Over 30 years of experience. No one, and I mean no one, has more experience in pain medicine techniques. You can reach him at 425-823-4000. That's 425-823-4000 or DanielNelsonMD.com.
The Gene Simmons Band, live Tuesday, April 8th at Muckleshoot Event Center. He's the God of Thunder. He's going to rock and roll all night and bring you an unforgettable night of head-banging rock and roll. Get tickets now at MuckleshootCasino.com. The Gene Simmons Band, only at Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
We've all been there, sleepless nights, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy knowing we're here for you. BayAlarm.com.
Meanwhile, at Xfinity. So, influencer life going well?
Oh, yeah. I'm up to 32 followers.
Oh, that's something.
Yeah, posting my tap dancing videos is easier than ever because we engineered Xfinity Internet with 99.99% network reliability.
Plus, Xfinity Mobile with Wi-Fi Power Boost gives you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and on the go. But wait, tap dancing? You don't tap dance.
Hey, what I lack in skill, I make up with passion.
Do more of what you love and love how fast you do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. Through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and one unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for 1 year and save over $1,000 in your first year versus other major carriers. Plus, ask how to get iPhone 16e on us. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment tax and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. Savings compared to Verizon 5G Internet plus one unlimited welcome line and AT&T Internet 300 plus one unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Actual savings vary.
This sandwich is not just spicy, it's flavorful. Hi, this is Patayo. And this is Elsa. And a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe Sandwich is that spicy kick. Because the spice comes in at just the right moment. Oh, no. A little thing I love is that cilantro lime sauce. It's a fun blend of zesty and bold. That's what really makes me happy. Are you going to eat all your fries?
Order a Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe Sandwich and a Diet Dr. Pepper on the Chick-fil-A app for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Progressive knows when you're on your boat, you're already on vacation. And Vacation You forgets all your worries. Vacation You doesn't even keep track of time and knows that time is a meaningless construct designed to control us, man. But Regular You knows you don't want to be too far out in the water after the sun goes down because Vacation You doesn't know how to navigate in the dark yet. Vacation You and Regular You really need to get on the same page. So bundle your boat with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from